Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. This is the Banyaging Native here on the Timeless Gamers Show. We are live, and I hope everybody can see what we're doing right now because honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing as of as of this show. Sir Jonas isn't here right now, so barring absolute disasters, the show must go on. And here at Timeless Gamer Show, we do our very best to make sure
And
that
it
everything
isn't
is
here right now,
working.
so
So, a little bit of feedback there. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and I apologize for the lateness of this broadcast because we are, kind of feeling our way around, and we hope that you guys didn't have too much trouble waiting for us. And yeah, welcome to Timeless Gamer Show, where we have the very best time of our lives, not just among ourselves, but with you as well. GDM, I'm horrible when it comes to memorizing taglines, so please regale us with our official Timeless Gamers Show podcast tagline.
Yes, it's the Timeless Gamer Show where our games and bodies may grow out of date, but our game experience will forever remain
Timeless,
timeless.
excellent. Thanks very much, JDM. Again, as the erstwhile host of this show for today, we just want to welcome everybody. We are live right now on Facebook, on Twitch, and on YouTube. Welcome everybody. You can also catch our audio podcast on all the major podcast platforms. You can download us while you're on the go, while you're exercising, while you're driving the car. Just make sure to keep your eyes on the road while you're listening. Just you can find us everywhere, and if you can't find us where you're looking at, we'll be there very soon. All right, so today's episode is going to be all about shoot 'em ups. We are going to be concentrating on that genre where lots of things are coming at you all at the same time, and all various different directions, sometimes from behind, and it's not a very happy sensation all the time. So so yes, but first things first though, let's have a quick look at the people joining us here on the chat. Let's see, JDM, you have the honors.
All right, so in the chats we got Otaku-sama saying hello guys, hello, welcome to the Timeless Gamer Show. We also have Marlon Hurtado Eliscopides who says I played Strikers 95 on the PS1 on that time, and I beat this game. I
Oh wow.
I don't think I played. I don't think I remember playing Strikers 45, but I played 1942 and 1943. And we also have Justin Balya, who's also a shmup gamer.
Mhm.
And one of my good friends is also here, Dabe Palomares. He said NES Duck Hunt. I think that's a different game,
Nah,
shooter game, but
yeah, as you
as
know,
long as
as host,
it
I'll take
involves
I'll
shooting,
take it.
right?
Yeah, as the host, I'll take it. Duck Hunt, yes. All right, continue,
And
JDM.
we also have Romel Boncillo who said, "Good evening, ladies and gents, just passing by." Thank you so
All
much,
right,
Romel.
all right, Romel Boncillo. There you go. Thanks very much, JDM. Excellent, excellent. And for today's show, we have first things first, Miss Eileen, Miss Ensign Porter. Say hi, Miss Eileen.
Hi everyone, welcome to Timeless Gamer. Thank you for joining us today on our shoot 'em up episode on Mega Drive games.
Excellent. Oh, not just Mega Drive though. Was it? Was our limitation Mega Drive? I know
Oh yeah,
it's a
and
general shoot 'em up. It's a general shoot
Sega.
'em up genre, right?
Yeah, it would just I just picked the Sega one just so
Mm.
really so
Sega.
for one I could pop some bits on the Sega Mega Master Show, and number
Mhm.
two, so that everybody got ease of access to it really.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Although, yeah, we'll discuss it as we go because the shoot 'em ups are also huge in the arcades. We're talking
Oh yeah.
like when you go to the arcades, yeah, I'd say a good third of arcade machines are actually shoot 'em ups. All right, to proceed, we have JDM. JDM, say hi to everybody.
Yes, welcome everyone to Timeless Gamer, Juan DeMarcos of 123 Go Retro. And as you can see, I'm a schmuck at shmups. And we have a great show tonight, and we hope you enjoy every single minute of our show.
Wonderful, excellent, excellent, excellent. And bringing to you the show captain, as I like to refer to the guy leading the charge for every particular episode, Mr. Dan Faulkner of the Sega Mega Masters. Dan.
Hello, everybody. Dan Faulkner here, Sega Mega Masters. Welcome to the show. Hope some of you chaps out there are shmup enthusiasts, and if you're not, hope by the end of the show you're up for giving some a try.
Excellent, excellent, wonderful, wonderful. And just so everybody knows, this show is being brought to you by our partners, Studio.ph, Shuffle Emporium, and Retro Unlimited. All right, excellent. So Dan, let's not beat around the bush so much. Take it away.
Well, let's get into it then. So, shoot 'em ups, the forgotten genre, as I like to refer to them, because shoot 'em ups. They're one of my favorite genres. My three contenders, I think, for the best game of all time includes two shoot 'em ups, which we'll talk about during this episode.
Okay.
And it is a shame, in my opinion, that this genre is taking such a back seat, because I think there's a lot more to this genre, and it has a lot more to offer than a lot of people give it credit for, really. So I appreciate you, gentlemen and gentle lady, all taking the time to participate in this challenge and give these games a go.
Just so everybody knows, Dan issued a challenge to all the Timeless Gamers Show panelists to start off on a shoot 'em up, a couple of shoot 'em up games. One easy, as he says, as he considers them anyway, and one very hard. So we had a taste of how shoot 'em ups actually felt, both classical and modern. And honestly, Dan, that challenge you issued us it has really kicked our behinds every single time. But yes, that is the background of our episode for today. Please continue, Dan.
Yeah, I mean the games that basically I picked. I think it was 8 easier games. I won't say easy games, but easier games, and 8 harder games. So you could all get a taste. And I kind of tried to give you a bit of, mix it up in terms of what mechanics and approaches all these shoot 'em ups had, rather than having similar shmups. Have them so they've got different elements that you could get into, like Miss Eileen, like the steampunk one and the fantasy set one in Twinkle Tale. So JDM went for the sci-fi one, and so show a bit of variety. So it was good that you all went through it. I really enjoyed watching you all play through it. I really enjoyed watching it all. So
I went through the difficult ones.
yes.
I saw.
We'll get to that. So just on the genre itself, I mean, it really probably is one of the earliest genres. It started off with Space Invaders.
Oh yeah.
You don't get really. That's a 1978 game. You don't get much earlier than that. Then you had Galaxian and Asteroids follow that in 1979. And so the term shoot 'em up, or shmup, as we like to say, that was coined by a guy who I've interviewed on the Sega Mega Master Show called Julian Rignall, who's also known as Jazz Rignall. He coined that or he first put it into print. I dare say it was coined beforehand, but he put it into print in an episode of Zap 64, and that kind of cemented the genre as a genre. So watching you guys take to it. I mean, the first question I'd like to ask is how much experience had you chaps had with shmups before?
Let's see. Let's have Miss Eileen answer the question first. Ladies first.
I have to say not much. Not really much. And who was that in the comment? Marlon said Twin B. That's the one I remember prominently from my childhood. But other than that, I'm not really sure. Maybe Galaga. If that
Galaga, yes.
And apart from those, I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Nice one, nice. And so, when you got down to playing these, then what kind of how did you feel about it? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What were your general feelings on it?
At first, I wasn't really sure what to expect because it's not a genre that appeals to me.
Mhm.
But then, as I started playing, I was trying to get the feel of the shmup, and as I progressed through the game, it's actually a lot of fun. It's still not my cup of tea, but I have to say I really enjoyed it a lot. And as I progressed through the game, I found it rewarding as I got to more difficult stages.
Nice one, nice one. I'm just having a look down here in the comments, and Justin Balieo. Sorry if I
Yes.
pronounced it miscorrectly, but he says, "I've got a lot of collections with the Gradius series, Star Soldier series, Airzonk, classic Windows Tahoo series, Trouble Witchers, Bike Bandits for the PC Windows. Noticeably, I was a PH player to clear 3 loops of Japanese version of Thundercross on a decent Konami horizontal shoot 'em up. So
Mhm.
that's a shmup fan. That's a guy who,
Yeah.
Mm.
Ju-
when you're looping
I
shmups.
don't even know those. I think I
Justin
only
is
know Gradius.
Yeah,
That's a guy who
Justin is
that's
a
a guy who likes your
baller
shmup.
when it comes to shoot 'em ups.
Mm.
Justin is our baller when it comes to shoot 'em ups. We're talking like this guy is the expert when it comes to shoot 'em ups, and his knowledge of shoot 'em ups is very broad. We're talking like he knows a lot of stuff about a lot of shoot 'em ups, and well, hats off to him. But how about you, Dan? Are you familiar with the ones that he's mentioned?
Yeah, I'm familiar with all those. The ones I've played the most out of those would probably be Gradius and Airzonk, which I think that won't surprise Justin. Airzonk's a really like cartoony, cute PC Engine shoot 'em up, which is quite cool. And obviously, we all know Gradius, Konami's legendary series that then spawned a parody of Gradius called Parodius.
Mm.
Which was quite big. So great, the original Gradius games. This was some fantastically designed games. You see, problem I had with Gradius, unfortunately, is I first experienced it in the arcades, but then I got it on the Super Nintendo Gradius 3, and it were a terrible port, a really bad port. It was just extremely slow. This is Airzon Core. This
Oh,
might be the sequel. So this is PC Engineers on this one, and it's like I say, we refer to these in the shmup community as cute 'em ups.
Cute 'em ups. Okay, I've never heard of that term. Cute 'em up. Okay.
Cute 'em ups. So yes,
So it
very
basically
appropriate.
Fantasy Zone. Fantasy Zone. This
yeah,
reminds me a lot of Fantasy Zone actually. So Fantasy Zone is a cute 'em up. Is
yeah,
that right?
yeah. Spot on, mate. Spot on, mate. I
Oh.
mean, it's a different style. The main difference mechanically with Fantasy Zone is a flip switch flip screen setup. So you could designed around exploration of the area, whereas
Oh.
Airzonk's a straight left to right scroller. But again,
How about Cotton?
all
Is
cute
there?
'em ups.
How about Cotton? I'd heard about a game
Spot on,
called Cotton. That's also a cute 'em up, if I presume.
spot on. Yeah, Cotton's got she's got a whole series of games on various systems. Your arcade versions are probably best on those. She did a 3D game on the Mega Drive, which I think
Mhm.
was on the actual Mega CD. But it's a very good spectacle of a game. Not the greatest playing game, but still all right. But
Mhm.
yeah, cute 'em ups are it's surprising how many cute 'em ups that there are out there. And there's one I can't remember the name on it now, but there's one on the PC Engine
Mhm.
where you basically it's all based around toilet humor.
Oh,
It's I think it's called Toilet Kids. I think it's called Toilet Kids.
it's my goodness. All right.
And we call that one a poop 'em up.
Oh my goodness. We are not going to show that in the show, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, but at least we have the knowledge of the idea of it. All right, excellent.
You can try to visualize it.
It is literally, everything is poop based in it.
Oh my goodness.
It's a very distinctive game, a very distinctive game.
Oh
So
my goodness. Okay, but
I
continue
wonder
that.
if
Go ahead.
there's a piss 'em up.
A what?
A piss 'em up.
I'll piss him up. Okay, fine. All right, go ahead. Continue, Dad. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he's mentioned some great ones here. We've got Sasiba. Nice to see you, Sasiba, who says he mentions the worst RPG ever made in Chrono Trigger. He says he's not good enough. He's not good enough for shoot 'em ups. Yeah, he's still sticking to kids games on Chrono Trigger.
And of course, let's say hi to RV Lagahit Ramos, who says hi to everybody. There you go. And of course, Baruna Royka on twitch.tv. Gami Tagle. Hello, Gami. It's great to see you. Thanks very much
Yeah.
for being so loyal to the Timeless
We
Gamer
also
Show.
got Dave Scott
Oh,
and Ray Q in the chats as well.
absolutely, absolutely. I call them our regulars and our most
Yeah.
dedicated fans. It warms our hearts that you guys are here all the time. Thank you very much. All right, continue.
Yeah, Ray Q mentions, he says here, is Twin B a cue 'em up? Yeah, Twin B, another great series. And then we've got Justin again saying he's mentioned some easy. Now this is quite interesting. He mentioned some easy NES shoot 'em ups, and he also mentions Twin Cobra on NES. I mean, the ones listed: Twin Cobra, Fantasy Zone on PC Engine, Superstar Soldier, Thundercross, Jackal Hard Raiden, Striker Series, Gunbird, Gradius 2 on the arcade, Daytona Twin B, Life Force, which is part of the Gradius series, Starship Actor, Thunder Force 3 and 4, boom, and Sonic Wins 2. But out of all those, it's quite interesting. It says Twin Cobra on NES because Twin Cobra, this is the NES version, and they made the NES and the home computer versions of Twin Cobra easier than the arcade. Significantly easier because the arcade version was really hard.
I have to admit, actually, Dan, if I can interject a little bit, I've had the chance to have a look at the shoot 'em ups and their home console ports, and there's really quite significant differences between the arcade version and the home console ports of shoot 'em ups. You'll have to elaborate on that one. You know, and you kind of describe to us, like, is it because of the fact that the home arcade ports need to be adjusted for age differences or things like that? Go ahead.
I mean, yes, spot on, mate. Good question. I think basically it's a case of shoot 'em up. I mean, shoot 'em ups in the arcade were designed to pinch your money.
It's true. Any arcade game is actually designed to pinch your money.
Exactly. So it was usually a structure of your first stage were easy enough to let you to get into it. The second stage would kick your ass a little bit, but then your third stage would start. It'd get quite brutal from your third stage onwards. But that's one of the reasons. Again, I'm a big Sega Mega Drive fan and the Sega Saturn because what they did. I mean, obviously, by the time we got to the 16-bit era, they'd introduced multiple difficulties, but they also expanded on what you got in the arcade. So what they actually did with Twin Cobra on the Mega Drive, so the arcade version's hard, but they made the Mega Drive version even harder, and it's one of the hardest games on the system. Twin Cobra is a brutal game. It really is on the Mega Drive, and they give it 8 difficulty levels. So you could drop it down to a really easy level to give yourself a chance, or if you were, wanted to torture yourself, knock it up to the hardest difficulty setting. But even the default difficulty setting was harder. So yeah, they adjusted them all in different ways for their own versions, and they started playing about by adding stuff like adding extra, like selectable characters. Parodius is a good example where you can select from different characters to play, more replayability really. So it took it from being just a sit down and blast on experience to a slightly deeper experience. You see.
Just for those of you in the audio portion of the podcast, we are now showing Twin Cobra on the Mega Drive as described by Dan. There you go.
Now, RV asks, is Davius 6 considered a shoot 'em up? I'm not familiar with that game, so I couldn't tell you on that one.
Okay. Oh, let me interject a little bit. Reikyu says Chua Aniki is a nope 'em up for me. That's a good one. That's a good one, Reikyu. Very good.
Yeah, I don't know if are you lot familiar with Choaniki? Choaniki is it's basically a gay muscle bodybuilder shoot 'em
Mhm.
up. It's one of the weirdest games. It's the you've got to play it just to see how mental it is. It's not the
Yeah,
greatest.
and
Looking at the screenshot, it looks like a hidden gem actually.
oh my goodness,
Really.
I'm hesitant to show the footage here on this show right now because I don't want us getting taken down.
It's just really weird. There's nothing. Um, there's nothing offensive or bad. It's just it's lots of muscly
It's
men doing weird things basically.
it's
So
just
And
from the looks of it, from the screenshots. Again, it seems batshit insane, honestly.
yeah,
guys with tongues.
Yeah, I know.
that's one of the things I love about shoot 'em ups is that because the general gameplay is pretty is simple in a it's a pick up and play game.
Mhm.
The developers could be really creative with what they did with the actual overlay in the game itself.
Mhm.
I mean, Siebert says the only two shoot 'em ups he was able to finish were Robo LS on the Mega CD and Star Fox.
Star
And
Fox, okay.
yeah, both good games. Robo LS is I actually really like Robo LS, but they are pretty easy. I mean, Star Fox anyone can get
That's
get that.
actually a very good question, Dan. Is there a difference between a shoot 'em up and a shooter game? Like, a spaceship shooter game?
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd call Star Fox a rail shooter. Star
A
Fox
rail shooter.
is
There it
a
is.
rail
All
shooter,
right.
which is
And joining us for this episode is Joe of Joe RPG. Hello, Joe. I hope you're doing all right.
Finally.
Hey, stop.
What? Very happy that Joe could join us for this episode because honestly, there's not enough of us here who got our asses kicked because of Dad's challenge, and Joe is I can verifiably say is one of those people whose behinds really got completely thrashed by Dad's challenge, right?
Oh, I have some shit to say. Just saying.
That's true. That's true. There you go. Oh my goodness. All right, Dad. You had finished asking Miss Eileen about her experience. How about JDM?
For me, shoot 'em up for me. My very first shoot 'em up would be, I think, Galaga.
Oh
Back in
yeah.
the early 90s. And then I discovered B Wings. And then
Mm.
uh, I I've also played Tiger Heli on the NES from one of my friends' cartridges.
Mm.
I think uh, I think Tiger Heli was a two-player game, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Those are the only ones that I remember. I also remember this one NES game, shmup game, but I I don't really remember what the name of that game was, but I keep looking at the NES library of shoot 'em ups, but every time I click on those links of those games, I don't see it. Doesn't remind me of that game that I played when back in, I think that was in 96 or 97.
Do you know the title of it?
I don't know the title. I just remember what's happening because I guess it's a Japanese game. I
Mhm.
got the Japanese cartridge, but so I don't remember the name. I just remember the visuals, but
Mhm.
I don't recall the name. And I think I that's the only time that I got into shoot 'em up games because when I transferred to the PS1, I don't remember playing any I remember one. For the PS1, it's called the one that looks like robots. Einhander. I played that.
Einhander, yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that's the last shoot 'em up game that I played because I haven't played shoot 'em up is like one of the latest genres that I've played. Oh, I guess I could add one shoot 'em up game. it's a hidden gem actually. It's called Invasion from Beyond for the PS1. It's a sci-fi shooter. It's like Descent. If you have played Descent for the PC, it plays like that. So I guess that's the PS1 is the last platform that I played shoot 'em up games with.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. I might as well throw in with my personal experience history of shoot 'em ups. Then again, much like everybody here, it wasn't really my genre of choice growing up. Growing up, it was a lot of platformers for me, like Super Mario Brothers, like Trojan on NES and everything. But my earliest experience when it came to shoot 'em ups was, like Dan says, Space Invaders, and then I'm not quite sure if it qualifies as a shoot 'em up. Missile Command. I'm not quite sure. Does that classify as a shoot 'em up, Dan?
That's a tough one, isn't it? 'Cause it's a strategic
Mhm.
game, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't class it as a shoot 'em up.
You
That was
wouldn't
actually like the
classify it.
first game I played, but I
Mm.
would class that as a shoot 'em up. That one,
Okay.
it's a strategic game myself.
I
There you go.
mean, technically speaking, I mean, Missile Command ain't you just stationary? I mean, you're not. I mean, you're not necessarily stationary, but you're just
Mhm.
you're just grounded somewhere.
Yes.
It's more like a rail shooter more than a
It's more like you're.
kind
Yeah,
of.
it's like you have three bases that you have to choose where the missiles are going to be launched from, and the missiles are limited. So you have to be strategic when it comes to which base you're going to be launching the missiles from, which direction, and you have to budget your shots. But like that has elements that aren't really in the shoot 'em ups that Dan has put forward, because of the fact that most shoot 'em ups that Dan has put forward has unlimited ammo. You can move wherever you want to, and you really don't have to worry about running out of resources. Actually, it's quite the opposite. You have to pick up resources as you go, from my understanding of it. So, yeah, you're right. It's probably not a shoot 'em up, but so I'd say, yeah, Space Invaders, and of course, Galaga. Galaga is a classic, and I'd say in the arcades, I had a lot of experience trying out shoot 'em ups. Like Progir no Arashi, the what you call this, I'm not quite sure if you can call it a shoot 'em up. It's this shoot 'em up where you're carrying. It's like a diesel punk style shoot 'em up where you have this ship, a biplane, where you're carrying a swinging ball. I completely forgot what it was called.
Trust.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah,
Trust.
I completely forgot what it was called. But yeah, in the arcades, like I mentioned earlier in the show, I'd say a full third of games on the arcades are shoot 'em ups, and I tried a lot of them. I don't remember a lot of their names, but I did play them, and I realized early on that my reflexes aren't honed for this. I mean, I can last for a little while, but it ate through way too much of my coins early on, so that I ran out of money. So I was thinking, this isn't a very efficient use of my cash. So I should look around for something where my coinage will last a little bit longer. So I kind of gravitated towards other games like a Stun Runner or things like that.
You
So
can only
mhm,
you can only last for a while is code for you
mhm.
can only tolerate it as much.
Yeah, well, I guess in a sense, that's true. That's true. Although I have to admit, they were very well designed. I like how I was very impressed with how the coding of the arcade games and the what you call this, the console shoot 'em ups that I've tried is amazing. The optimization that you needed to do to have not have flicker, to not have slowdown in terms of the games, I'm very impressed with them. Back to you, Dan.
Yeah. So, what about you then, Joe? What's yours? It wouldn't surprise me if this was your first experience as shoot 'em ups.
First experiences with shoot 'em ups, pretty much the same as these people. I mean, growing up in the Philippines in the 90s,
Mhm.
of course, goes without saying, Galaxian, Galaga, B Wings, Twin B, Sky Destroyer. Hey, what's up?
Sky
Um,
Destroyer. Oh
Sky
yeah, that was fun.
Destroyer. You know guys, what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Um, as far as arcade goes, 1942 Raiden, always a classic,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
I can't say they're all of those are my favorite. More like, okay, there's nothing else to play, I'll play them. I managed to play. I managed to finish. Oh, of course, Gradius and Salamander. I managed to play. I managed to finish those with my little brother when we played Gradius and Salamander. Of course, I don't care if I use cheats. All right, 30 lives ain't shit. That's fine. I mean, who cares? I mean, as long as we finish that shit, we're happy. We didn't care about. There's no morality hidden there. Although um, there was this game that really captivated me back in the late '90s. Out of maybe because this is what when they re-released the original trilogy for Star Wars
Yes.
back in the late '90s.
Oh yes,
So
yes, yes.
within that hype, um, there, in Grand Central, I saw this arcade cabinet um, called Raystorm. hmm
Mhm.
So I saw the work the gameplay demo of Raystorm, and for some reason it just caught my eye. Um, either you're fighting the enemies with laser beams, or thundercrackers, right? So, okay. Still set in space and all that. Sure. So, and I remember getting passed through the second stage of that, and I mean, and then when it was ported for the PlayStation One, I bought the CD for it. So I managed to play that. Um, and then and then and then there's this one game that I asked her Dan if he knows about this game. And I said, "Oh, sir, then a little bit of a side note here, a little bit of a tangent. So when Sir Dan mentioned about when he suggested about the shoot 'em up game, so Sir Dan made a challenge, right? So he listed out five easy games, and five hard games, right? And I'm like, all of these are hard games. Ain't no bullshitting about this. And then so I said to him, "Oh, Sir Dan, do you know that shoot 'em up game where in the demo you can see this Japanese girl that the camera is just fixated on her boobs, then up to her face. It's a horizontal shooter as well. I just can't remember the name. And so he I'm not Sir Dan didn't recall any of that. Didn't know about that game, but he did recommend a few based on his list. So I went ahead and asked a few forums, uh, the 80s, the 70s, 80s, 90s video game retro forums like that. So I described the game as if I remembered it right, and maybe the mods think that I was just joking or I'm just trolling. Some of those banned me for some reason. They actually kicked me out, and I'm like, why kick me? I'm legitimately asking what the hell was it? I'm not crazy. I know what I saw. And then when I was rummaging around Amazon because of the Black Friday, I saw it. The Psycho collection for the PlayStation 4, and I recognized one of the title characters in there, and there she was, uh, the lady with the big, the Japanese lady with the big boobs. So the game was a ten guy, and I'm like, okay. So I went back to, and then I went to YouTube, put in ten guy, and then okay, just as I remembered it, with all the, yep, those are the boobs that I remembered. So yeah, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start playing this just because I was just curious, because I never really played that in the arcade because I don't know. Because if I play that in the arcade, I don't want people to be looking at me different. Like, okay, you're only playing it just because why you're only playing it because, right? I don't want to be labeled. Hey, I was only a dumb kid right then, right? It's the boobs, of course.
Mhm.
Um, they know what they were doing.
And they
Anyway,
know who they were marketing to. Come on.
so basically, Tengai, right? So Tengai, the arcade, it was ported to the Sega Saturn. I'm like, okay, once I get home, I have more time. I'm gonna be downloading that shit. I'm gonna put that on my I'm gonna be playing that on my Saturn, and I'm going to be playing it like the gentleman that I am. I'm gonna
Hmm.
enjoy it for all its beauty purposes.
Nice one.
Back to you,
Nice
Sir
one.
Dan.
Nice one.
Actually,
Well, I don't expect any less, Joe, and I'm proud on you, mate. And that is, to be fair, I listened to it after you mentioned it, and I do vaguely remember it because I remember screenshots of you can play as a monk. And
hmm.
I remember the seeing the screenshots of the monk, but I've never actually played it, so I am going to put that on my list to play.
Can
At your religious recommendation.
quick interjection, actually, Dan. Jerome CP on YouTube has a question, and it's a question from my side as well. Shoot 'em ups and bullet hell games are just the same, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bullet hell's like a subgenre. Bullet hell is basically after the games that I've got you chaps to play are what we refer to as classic shoot 'em ups. So the gameplay mechanics is more about forcing your ship or person or sprite, whatever you want to call it, around the
mm,
screen and finding spaces. It's about movement, whereas bullet hell shoot 'em ups, the strategy behind them is basically they fill the screen with loads of bullets, and the strategy is to move as little as possible. The more like a puzzle game where you have to be really careful about where you move. So
mm.
they're a very acquired taste. I like them. I enjoy them, but I don't get as much excitement
Do you?
Thank
Do
you
you
very
really?
much. Thank you very much to Reikyu on the chat. Reikyu reminded me of the name of that game that I played. Boogie Wings. Boogie Wings is the
Boogie
name of that
wing.
game.
wings.
Boogie
Right.
Wings. That was the name of the biplane with the swinging ball at the tail that you can use as a weapon also.
Boogie
Thanks
wings
very
is that
much,
not big
Reikyu.
wings?
The Boogie
Or is
Wings
that
is very
different?
different from B Wings, but they're both a lot of fun. I have to admit, B Wings for the different weaponry that you can use. I always use the triple shot. I love the triple shot. And for Boogie Wings, it's the biplane. It's very 19 swing 1920s 1930s feel. Yeah, thanks very much for that one, Reiki. All right.
Nice one. Nice. Well,
Mhm.
yeah. So let's get into the actual challenge that we did then. So we did it all Sega based.
Mhm.
So again for easier access, and so I can spread this around the Sega groups I'm in.
Yes.
So where to start first? So let's do a little round robin. So you'll try different ones. You'll pick various ones. Let's start with yourself, Sir Joel. Let's have a look at. Yeah, I believe you did eliminate down and
Yes.
elemental master. So elemental
Mhm.
master is the easy one,
Mhm.
uh, and eliminate down's the hard one. So over to you,
Well,
mate.
I wouldn't say either of them are easy for somebody like me. I mean, I'm turning 51 very soon, and the thing about it is, it's a genre that I haven't visited in a long time. But I did try Elemental Master long ago, and because it caught my fancy that there can be a shoot 'em up that is fantasy based. It was unique to me. It was a very unique concept to me because of the fact that shoot 'em ups tend to almost always be sci-fi from my experience. Elemental Master broke that mold in showing actually it even had a little bit of a plot at the very beginning. That's another thing about shoot 'em ups. Mostly shoot 'em ups are very sparse when it comes to plot lines. Usually, like Space Invaders or Galaga, you have no idea what's happening. You have no idea why you're shooting at all these aliens. You just know that you have to. Whereas Elemental Master had a little bit of an intro as to a storyline to it from the very beginning. And oh my gosh, Joe is going to be showing my embarrassment in the video right now. But yeah, the thing about it is, let's begin with eliminate down first. Eliminate down showed the one factor about eliminate down that really surprised me was that it's you can shoot forwards and backwards. Normally in the shoot 'em ups, in my experience from way back in the old days, was that you could like Gradius or Progear no Arashi, was that you really didn't, was it Progear, I don't quite recall, where you really didn't have to worry about things coming at you from behind you. So I guess the limitation of my experience when it came to shoot 'em ups was that I'm always worried about what's coming up from one side of the screen, so I can concentrate my response on that side. I don't have to worry about somebody coming up from behind me and stabbing me in the back. Now, eliminate down broke that mold for me because of the fact that I can change my weaponry so that it's not just front shooting, but it's also shooting towards the back, and I can change my tactics so that I can move my ship a little bit from away from where the enemy is going to be going, where I know the enemy is going to be, and shift my weaponry so that my weaponry is shooting from behind, and I can kind of plot where I'm supposed to be moving next. It's I've learned one thing about shoot 'em ups through Eliminate Down and Elemental Master. It's the fact that you are not thinking about where you are at that moment. You're thinking about where you are supposed to be in the next moment, where you're supposed to be going the next moment, and where you're going to be where you're going to try to fool the enemy to shoot at so that you can not be there. It's like you're trying to be there at that moment, but you're already thinking two steps ahead so that the enemy shoots where you were originally. So I guess the tactical portion of eliminate down that I learned while I was playing it is that you have to fool the enemy AI, so that it's shooting where you were, not where you are.
Yeah,
That's what I've learned.
you have to draw the fire as you would.
Yes, precisely. You have to draw the fire where you were, so that the enemy is shooting where you're not. So it's like you're not even thinking about the dodging portion of it. You're thinking about where you're supposed to be going so that you're not in the line of fire. And I guess that's the thing about eliminate that I've learned. I love how the weaponry evolves. That's one thing about shoot 'em ups that I like. The shoot 'em ups that have evolving weaponry. The stronger the more power ups you pick up, the stronger your weaponry is, the more fancy it is on screen, and it's I like that. The visual aspect of eliminate down is very nice. Although I have to admit, by stage 3, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong on stage 2 or stage 3, where I basically died and I said, screw this, I can't handle this anymore. Where it's nothing but asteroids. There's blue asteroids and there's purple asteroids. So it's kind of there's the was it Joe? Remind me, was it the blue asteroids that didn't have an effect on you, and the purple asteroids that actually could kill you?
The background, the purple asteroids, the big one.
Mm,
Those were just the background
yeah.
that, and then the navy blue asteroids. Those are the ones that you really should avoid, or
Yeah.
at least either avoid, or you can just shoot them if you have the time to.
That's the bad thing about it, though. The bad thing about humans is that we are very movement based when it comes to visual aspects. The moment that you see something move, your instinct is to avoid it. Now, that portion of of eliminate down was that you could see everything moving around you, the blue asteroids and the purple asteroids. So your natural instinct was to avoid everything that was moving, and it was very confusing for somebody like me who is not used to genre. So the fact is, all the blue and purple asteroids moving, my mind was what's the right term for it, was overloaded with where the hell do I go now. So it's and that's basically where I had to say I can't do this anymore. Eliminate down showed me that the genre is very intricate, it's very tactical, but it's very hard to adjust to because of the fact that it's constantly trying to fool you. It's constantly trying to fool you the same way that you're constantly trying to fool the enemy as well. So that's it about Eliminate Down. That's my opinion of Eliminate Down. It's a great game. It's just, I guess it's the mindset in me that I have to adjust, that I'm not the only one trying to fool this. The enemy's trying to fool me as well.
Yeah,
And
it's a good. I like your summary there. I think you
mm,
said quite a lot, because when I watched you play,
yes.
one of the things I noticed is when you got to the second stage,
Mm,
you you tried different weapons on the asteroids,
Yes.
and you convinced yourself that the missiles, the vertical
Yes.
missiles,
Mhm.
worked the best. That the other weapons didn't have an effect,
Yes.
but the other weapons do have an effect. So it was quite. That's one of the things that I love about shoot 'em ups, because it forces you to, you have to approach, you have to think things from different angles. It's not like,
Mhm.
so if you play Zelda, you get a
Yes.
puzzle to solve, but
Mhm.
you've got time. You've got. To me, that's quite boring, because you can spend an hour sat around leisurely doing it. It's not, there's
Mhm.
no intensity, there's no excitement. Whereas with a
Yes.
shoot 'em up, you have to try all these different things while surviving and
That's
whilst all these
true.
things are coming at you. So,
In a
uh,
way, actually, it's a lot like JRPGs. In Joe's case, in JRPGs, you have to find the enemy that is the most effective against a certain enemy. So like this enemy is a fire element, then you use water against them. So that's, I guess that was the mentality that I was bringing to eliminate down the fact that, all right, these missiles are coming at me from an angle, from beneath me. So the most effective weapon that I could use against it were the missiles that would angle downwards against them too, while I was avoiding it. So I guess the mentality of the GRPG portion of which weaponry would work best against which enemy was working in the back of my head and was working against me as well. So I should be careful with that. So
no, but
that's my take on it.
I think that's a great thing, and that's why I think it's great that you've taken on this challenge, because
Mhm.
it stretches your viewpoint. You know what I mean? It
That's
shows
true.
that I think a lot of people aren't prepared to do that, and
Mhm.
it's really good. I mean, you said something similar with it with the.
Mhm.
Um, I remember when you said when you played Elemental Master, you said,
Yes.
"Oh,
Mhm.
this game needs more health power ups,"
Oh yeah.
and and that to me shows how conditioned even
Yes.
older gamers have become to relying
Mhm.
on, instead of looking away to beat the problem or beat the
Mhm.
challenge, they look away for to get around the challenge. Do you
Mhm.
mean it's modern games have conditioned people into being, um, if you come up to a boss, go and
Yes.
level up to get past that boss, or
Mhm.
go and find an item to get past that boss.
Mhm.
Whereas I one of the things I love about shmups and old games is that you ain't got the option. You've just got to get better.
Mhm.
You've got to learn how to beat it.
And that's it. That's the thing that really challenged my paradigm, shall we say? That's the right term that I'm using right now. It's the fact that with Eliminate Down and in Elemental Master, it was I guess the fact that I was looking for, oh, what's the right term for it? The hack or the weak point of it, and it really wasn't the correct way to go about it. Like you said, you just have to get better. You just have to figure out the best way to go about it rather than trying to find the weak point of the enemy, which is how I've gotten used to approaching video games nowadays. That's a good way of thinking about it, Dad. You're right. It's oh, an Elemental Master. Like you said, the fact that I was looking for, oh my gosh, I'm dying, I need to find some kind of way to replenish my health. That wasn't the right way to think about that one. Yeah, here in Elemental Master, you could see the wizard being able to shoot forward and backwards, just up and down. There's no, I could be wrong on that one. Maybe I didn't progress far enough that I could shoot sideways.
Yeah, you get power ups that shoot sideways,
Yeah.
but you only get the option of shooting vertically or yeah, well, sorry, vertically up or down. But then when you
Mhm.
get the other power ups, you can shoot to the sides as well.
Ah, that's it. I didn't get far enough for me to be able to shoot sideways, and it was frustrating that these things kept getting tossed at you and had, I call it splash damage, where it would damage a general area, and there was no way for you to avoid it. I mean, there likely was a way to avoid it, but I hadn't figured it out yet back then. So the for those of you in the audio podcast, Joe is showing my embarrassment right now. He's showing my stream of Elemental Master, and the fact is, it's a gorgeous game. I have to admit, almost all shoot 'em ups that I've seen are amazingly designed. They're beautiful, they're intricate, they're very detailed, and it draws you in visually and audio as well. The sound is very. Somebody commented on my stream. I don't quite recall who it was. It might have been Miss Eileen who said that the audio sounds are very enthralling, I guess that's the right term for it, is she really got caught by the sound portion of it. And oh no, it was Miss Raki 1-5, who said the sound portion was enthralling. Miss Raki being a rhythm game player, and she's an expert when it comes to sound, music, sound, and things like that. So she said that the shoot 'em up sounds were very interesting, very enthralling. It was amazing for her, and the visual aspect, the audio aspect were amazing. I just wish that I had the reflexes to to really get far and appreciate the game more, because I keep dying early on. So that's my experience of it. Both Eliminate Down and Elemental Master are amazing games. I just wish that I were better at them. And Dad says, I just got to get better. Just got to get good.
Yeah.
There you go.
See, well, I just want to touch on something you mentioned there, and something that Justin says. That Elemental Master felt like a vertical Thunder Force with medieval things. Now, that's because it's made by Technosoft, and Technosoft also made this game, which is Devil Crash.
Devil Crash.
Now, Technosoft, the music is amazing. Thunder Force 3 is another Technosoft game, which Sir JDM played. All the music is amazing, and it's that good, and it was in that demand back in the day that if you put a cheat into this game, you can listen to the music from Elemental Master and Thunder Force 3 in that game too. So that it goes to show you how they knew the craft. They really, really did.
We have a question here from Christ John Esagunde. I could be wrong on the pronunciation, but what is the difference of Z Blade and Eliminate Wing? I'm not familiar with that one though. Dan, you're being the shoot 'em up guy. Are you familiar with these games?
Yeah, and the difference is that the different games.
Oh, they're very different games. They're
they're all shoot 'em ups, but they've got different mechanics, different styles. Eliminate Down is, like I say, most shoot 'em ups have a key gimmick or a key focus. So Eliminate Down, its key gimmick is that you can shoot in multiple directions. If once you get to know the game, if you watch the first stage, you'll notice once you get to know it that every enemy in the first stage is designed to make you cycle your weapons.
Yeah, that's true.
So it basically is training you, right? You're not going to beat it if you just stick to one forward weapon. You are going to have to continuously cycle your weapons. And Z Blade's a game that you don't have to do that. I've not played enough of Z Blade to remember much about it, but again, it's another shoot 'em up, yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. So that's my assessment of it. Both Eliminate Down and Elemental Master are amazing games. I just wish I were better at it. And there's no other way to see the rest of the game except to get good. That's it.
In fact, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned. You know the term "get good" or "get
Get
good."
good, yes.
Get good. A lot of people use it with Dark Souls. Okay.
Okay.
And Dark Souls is one game you don't have to get good. You can literally go away and level up and get loads of souls and just get stronger. So it's a very strange, why they use it. That's just strange.
I mean, Dark Souls and the Souls like stuff ain't got nothing on classic gaming. We're talking like shoot 'em ups and things like that. So all these kids, I'm going into whippersnapper mode here. You whippersnappers, All right, back to you, Dad. Go ahead.
Yeah, so
the kids these days think Dark Souls are hard. The Souls games are hard.
Yeah, they tend to they tend to hold them up as the pinnacle of hard gaming. When you say Souls like, it's the game that everybody has trouble with, but they have no idea.
Yeah.
Try beating a game without a save state.
Oh yes, there's that. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. All right, Dan, continue.
Yeah, who wants to go next? Then who wants to give us their account next?
Miss Eileen, would you care to do the honors, or Sir JDM?
Sure, I'd be happy to go next.
All right, wonderful. Okay.
All right.
By the way, before I proceed, I just with all the discussions of shoot 'em ups, something jogged my memory. Anybody remembers here the NES game Jackal?
Yeah.
Oh, careful how you say it.
Sorry.
Is Jackal? Is
So
that the
that's
one with the jeep that jumps? Is that
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one.
Mhm.
I just remember that game. That's one shoot 'em up I genuinely enjoyed. So after this episode, I might go play that later.
Oh, there you go.
There's an excellent spiritual sequel to Jackal on the Sega Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo called Super Swiv.
Super
Super
Swift.
So
Okay.
Swift.
and it's 2 players as well.
Mm.
So if you get chance, check that out because the Super Nintendo version looks and sounds better, but it
Mhm.
misses some content. The Mega Drive version it looks a bit ropier, but it's got more bosses and more levels, so it's the better version for my. But if you like Jackal, mate, definitely check Super Swift out.
Okay, we're gonna have to put that into the chats a little later so that I can go back to it myself. I'll check it out. But yes, continue, Miss Eileen. Go ahead.
I think thank you for that. I put it on my Google on another tab. So
There you go.
back to the I'm fast like that. So my picks were Steel Empire and Twinkle Tail. I'm going first with the easier game because I'm not really good at shoot 'em up. So I had lots of args and where did that come from in my streams? Sir Dan and Sir JDM and Sir Joe were witnesses to my
Yeah, there
frustration.
you go.
So here is still Steel Empire. It was in 1992, and it's a horizontally scrolling shooter, as you can see there. The art style attracted me. It's a steampunk style.
Yeah, I
It's
love
mostly shot.
steampunk. Love steampunk. Yes.
Yes, it's stylistic and very rustic
Hmm.
in nature.
You know, if,
And
if
in
Miss
this,
Eileen had if Miss Eileen hadn't claimed that game first in the list, I would have gone for it.
and I think I would have gone for what's the other one? Elemental, the one you chose
Oh
earlier.
yeah,
I think
Elemental
we
Master.
exchanged
Yeah,
picks.
we'll trade. We'll trade, Miss Eileen. I'll
That's
do I'll
right.
do this one, and then you do Elemental Master. Okay, continue,
Let's
please.
do. So this one has 7 stages, and in my stream, I managed to reach stage 5. I didn't finish it on my stream, but that's
Mm.
as far as I got. You have choices of 2 ships. This one is called the Striker. It is faster and has a shorter life compared to the other one, the Zeppelin. I guess that's familiar. That's a big ship. It's slow. The other ship is slower and it has more lives. But there was this stage that I really needed the faster ship because apart from shooting, there's the stage where you have to avoid obstacles. That one absolutely killed me. I would say
Mhm.
it. I ran out of lives because of that stage. So you have to evade barriers and maybe if it's a mountain stalactites, stalagmites, or whatever cave, something like that. So it's not just a plain shoot 'em up. There's also obstacle evasion, for lack of a better term. So what I like eliminate down. You can shoot forwards and backwards on this one, and if you can see the bombs there, because you have enemies on the ground, you can drop bombs, but you can't really angle it. But you have to maybe position your ship properly to ensure that you kill those on the ground. And the enemies are quite varied. So that one you have to shoot that when it turns around. And then there's the windmill that actually flies. And the bosses are also huge ships that have turrets. And you have to find their weak spots and the patterns because it's not just shoot, shoot, shoot. There's maybe movements up and down, spiraling. So you really have to strategize on how to attack your enemies.
Mm.
So I found I haven't finished it, but I found Steel Empire really entertaining. So
Nice.
there's it's not a boss, but maybe a sub boss, something.
Yeah, no. To be fair, it's this is probably this and Arrow Flash are probably the 2 easiest games that I gave gave you all to do. So I'm hoping that you go back to attempt it again because I think you'll beat this easy, mate. I think the first few goes you had on it were just you getting used to the genre rather than the game itself.
Mhm.
I think
Yes.
when you get back to it, mate, I think you'll easily beat it.
Well, if I can interject, the thing I wanted to get to Steel Empire, before Miss Eileen claimed it, was the fact that it reminded me of a steampunk novel series by Michael Moorcock. I'm not quite sure if anybody's read that series. Michael Moorcock, who wrote Nomad of the Time Streams. So it's very steampunk. It's very it shows an alternative history of what might have happened if people had focused on that particular technology, then had gone into like the electric or the information technology. So I guess it's the romanticism of
Yeah.
the environment or of the setting, I guess, that I like. So yeah, just a little bit of a slip in there. So yeah, please continue, Miss Eileen.
Yeah, speaking of that, I think I read somewhere that the story of Steel Empire is that this is an alternate history of modern age where they are using steam.
Well, there you
So
go.
yeah, I think that's the story if I read it right.
Mhm.
Because I did not finish the game, so I'm not sure about the history there.
Yeah, steampunk
So
is
that
fascinating because of the fact, if anybody also remembers an old game called Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura, it
Yes.
feels like that. It feels like
Yeah.
that kind of setting. So there. All right, continue, Miss Eileen.
that's my short playthrough of Steel Empire there.
Mhm,
And if I may, I will move on to Twinkle Tail,
mhm,
the harder shmup that I picked. And just like Steel Empire, I chose Twinkle Tail because of the art style again.
yes.
If you can see there later, it's an anime-ish. I think it's actually anime style art. It's also released in 1992. It's a mix of side scrolling to vertical shooting. So that's quite interesting to me. It also feels like an RPG. It also has, like Sir Joel said earlier, on it's Eliminate Down, I think, or Elemental, the other one.
Hmm.
This also has a good plot.
Well,
So
there you
shoot 'em
go.
ups don't really have stories, right? So
Mhm.
that's what I liked about Twinkle Tail. There, so don't get fooled by the cute art because this game kicked my ass.
It's
So many
brutal.
don't be fooled. It's not easy. And I was playing that on easy mode.
Oh, you did, was
So
it on easy? Was it?
yes, it's an easy mode.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
So you can see there, yes.
it's a tough game. It is a tough game. Twinkle Tail. It demands that you pay attention to everything, and it's very punishing. So it's a fantastic game. Fantastic game.
Oh my gosh. I
True.
mean, just looking at it, you know that it's the kind of game that says, you're don't underestimate me by my looks, because I am going to brutalize you in many different ways.
See, one thing I noticed is I kept screaming at the screen for you to use your smart bombs,
Mhm.
because that's something that, again, when you're not used to these games, it's second nature to somebody like me, because I play shoot 'em ups all the time. I love shoot 'em ups, but when you're not used to doing it, you've essentially got three smart bombs here that you can use at any time, and there's plenty of smart bombs to pick up.
Mhm.
And you get a boss like this, but you try and take him on like you are doing now, just shooting him, and I'm going, use your smart bombs, use your smart.
Well,
I'm
actually,
saving.
now that you mentioned that, actually, Dan, I just remembered one of the earlier shoot 'em ups that I have played. It's Macross on the Japanese Famicom
Mm.
NES. So yeah, Macross, which is in the West, it's called Robotech. But yeah, that's one game that I do suddenly remember because of the what we're seeing here right now being shown on Miss Eileen's stream. All right, back to you, Miss Eileen.
So about the smart bombs, I was
Mhm,
trying to save them up. And because when you use a smart bomb here, you can see they're on the right side,
mhm.
L3, L3, L1. When you use a smart
Oh,
bomb, that type of attack you're using will go
Mhm.
down a level if you use a smart bomb.
Oh, okay. So it basically weakens it every time that you use it. Is that right? You have to charge
Yes.
it back up. Oh, okay.
Yes. And to charge it back up, you need to get, if you saw earlier,
Mhm.
the star. You need the stars to
mhm.
level up your attacks. So
Uh,
this one is a homing attack. The
mhm.
second one in the middle on the right side is the most powerful I find, but it's just linear. attack, but it's really
Mhm.
powerful. And the stars is the spreads.
Well, just to give you a little bit of insight, Dan, it looks like Miss Eileen is a very frugal game player. She she saves
Yeah.
her stuff until she really needs it. So I'm imagining maybe in role playing games she probably hoards all of her health potions too, so that before she doesn't use
That
them
is
by the end of
true.
the game.
The kind of player
That
that
is true.
finishes the game with a massive inventory list.
Exactly.
Yes, that is
Wait, I
true.
haven't used these items.
Great observation there, Sergio. That's true.
There you go.
I would try to save them up as much as I can.
Yeah, you're very much like you're very much like my missus, actually, Miss Eileen. Before you know before you know it, I look at her inventory and it's like, what the heck are you doing with a level one sword? I don't know. I might still use it sometime in the future. I don't know. All right, continue, Miss Eileen.
So again, with these power ups, you can shoot. The good thing here is you can shoot at different angles, so you don't have to worry about enemies coming from behind. And
Mm,
then what else? You can move forward as you attack, and I think the great strategy here is move forward really fast, because if you just stay on one place and try to kill everybody on screen,
mm.
more enemies spawn and you end up getting trapped.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's
yeah,
the strategy.
that's pretty much a good strategy overall when it comes to shoot 'em ups. I've noticed. Try
True.
not
I
to stay in
even
one place.
Yeah.
Yes, and
And
I
so
think I saw on yes, yes, sir Dan.
no, so what did you think then, mate? What did you think to the games? Did you like them? Do you not like? How did you? How were your feelings about them after?
Steel Empire I enjoyed. Twinkle Tail I enjoyed a lot
Yeah, cool.
because of the
Very cool.
overall feel of the game.
And it just
And
so
by the
it goes to show that it doesn't because Twinkle Tails by far Twinkle Tail took me quite a while to finish. I had to really practice to beat Twinkle Tail. Steel Empire I finished on my second ever go. So it goes to show you that a harder game doesn't a lot of people get put off by harder games, but you enjoyed the harder game here.
yes, this one is the harder game I picked, but I enjoyed it better.
And is it
So by the way, there's also
one of the things I noticed from you, Sir Joel and Sir J James. Okay, so what I love about shoot 'em ups, okay, and this is to me is why the blow. I find it mind-boggling how people don't love them because the excitement and the buzz I get from the intensity and the pressure is fantastic. I love that. I love that sense of. And when I was watching you guys, the amount of times you kept going, oh, no. And when you beat a boss, every time you beat a boss, you all went,
Yeah,
oh.
well, yeah.
that's
A
why my
sigh of
camera is
relief.
turned off here.
Well, I guess there's a certain level when it comes to gaming. We've reached a certain level when it comes to gaming where the frustration factor that you have to undergo it goes like this. When you're young, the frustration factor that you can handle is very high, and as you age, it kind of goes down. And I don't know. Maybe in my case, because because I'm an old fogey. I have dinosaurs as pets. The fact that the fact that my frustration acceptability level is very low already. That I think I might not be able to handle this anymore because of the fact that I can't take it, the frustration that comes from dying all the time. I could be wrong on this, but yeah, if there were only some way for me to kind of think of it laterally, a different manner, so that it's not the frustration that I focus on, but the achievement portion of it, then yeah, I might be able to adjust my enjoyment of it. Yeah,
I
it's
think
all in it's on the thinking. Mhm.
one of the things I think that's a great point because one of the
Mhm.
things that I find I don't think like that. You see, and that
Mhm.
might just because I was raised in the arcades.
Yeah.
I find joy in
Mhm.
when I play a game that kind of trolls me, that kind of that
Okay.
that I think I'm getting cleverer or better at the game, and then it puts a really then it really does something really clever and out of the blue to I lose a life, and I think that's good. So like I say, it might be a
Mhm.
mindset thing, mate. It might be a mindset.
Yes. Mhm. All right, very cool. So that's Miss Eileen's opinion of her games. It's very valid, very fun opinion. Let's put it at that then. All right, very cool.
Excellent, lovely. Thank you very much, Miss Eileen. Much appreciated. So JDM, then, what about you,
All
mate?
right. So I guess you already saw me play the games just yesterday, and I selected the easy list. I played Thunder Force 3, and I'm not really sure why it was on the easy on the easy list. I I played it I guess Thursday evening, and I thought it was just your typical horizontal shooter game. So this one, for this playthrough and Afterburner 2, I've used the arcade stick just to make sure I don't sore my thumbs when I play, and I think it's much easier for me to maneuver the ship when I'm using the stick. And then and here it is, my playthrough of Afterburner. So in this, it's a horizontal shooter. You got enemies going on the screen. You also have enemies coming from behind, and anything that comes from behind is really bad news. like those like those guys that just killed me.
I mean,
So
the
yeah.
JDM said anything that comes from behind is bad news. That can be interpreted a myriad of ways. Anyway,
I'm
continue.
saying your wife would agree. Your wife would agree, mate.
Alright, so as you can see, you have a variety of weapons. The one I'm using now is this. Is this a rocket? I forgot. Is it,
Mm.
I think it's fire F. It's
Yep,
the
that's all.
F weapon, fire. It shoots rockets at the top and the bottom of the screen. So it's like sweeping any enemies that it encounters. So it's good to use if you have enemies that are staying. Those missiles that at the top and at the bottom. And you also have this. So your initial weapon is this one, the one that looks like a machine gun. I think that's the my most used weapon in this game, because it just shoots forward. Then you also have the secondary weapon, the one that look like a laser. It also shoots from behind, but I don't think, as what I've observed, it doesn't do quite a lot of damage than the machine gun that you have. And you also have this part that um, I think it's a power up that uh, circles around your ship, and also shoots the same weapon that you're using. So you have like two additional weapons. So what I like about this game is the visuals are really great. You have the parallax scrolling and the background, and you also have these things in the foreground, which I think the developers put up to mess up with your visibility. And sometimes you have hidden enemies in the for example, that one, the one that looks like vines, they're on the foreground, so they're covering the tracks, they're covering the screen, most of the screen, and they're also hiding the enemies. So this is my first playthrough of the game. I In this game, you're free to select which world you're going to um, play with. just like in Mega Man, where you have the freedom to choose which planet you're going to go first. And in this first playthrough of mine, I didn't beat any of the bosses at the last part of the level because I'm still getting used to the controls. And then on my second playthrough of this, I I'm already familiar with the levels. I know where the obstacles are coming from. I know where the some of the enemies are coming from. So I was able to avoid them until I reach uh, the last boss of this level. I forgot which level this one is. Uh, I think this is the first boss that I finished. The first level that I finished. I actually finished 3 levels. I forgot the names of those enemies, but I really got good in this game. Actually, what you have to do is you just get familiar with the game. Just get familiar, and sooner or later you get good at this game. And that's it for Thunder Force 3. And also, I must not forget about the soundtrack. And as what Sir Dan told earlier, it was made by this company. Uh, what was that again? The
Techno.
soundtrack is amazing. Yeah. And I really like the music from the Planet of Alice. I forgot the title of the music. It when I first heard it, I really think that um, these music are strategically placed because it hypes up your gaming. I think that's the main purpose of the music in games is it really hypes you up, and every time there are intense moments in games, the music is just there to hype you up.
It
And
it sets the tone,
yeah,
JDM, wouldn't you
yeah, it
say?
sets its own, right?
Mhm.
And that specific music from the Planet of Alice makes me want to start own punk rock band actually. And I was thinking that, oh, maybe listening to the music, I think I might be able to pull this cover of this song or
I
this
mean,
music.
I
Yeah,
mean, heck, there are very successful video game musicians, Tommy Tallarico, Vomitron. There's amazing bands that actually do produce uh, covers of video game soundtracks, and they sell
yeah,
really well. Yeah.
yeah. And don't forget the vocalist and frontman Devo, Mark
Mm,
Mothersbaugh.
no.
He did most of the music in The Sims, so
Mm.
he's really into this experimental music. He had this really unorthodox instruments. He even plays those kiddie keyboards
Oh
in one
yeah,
of his
okay.
music. Yeah.
I really wish we could do really wish we could do a video game soundtrack episode, but copyright being the way it is,
Yeah.
we can't
And I think we
possibly.
already did that in the
I mean,
previous episode.
yeah,
Yeah.
we did, but something that we can actually play the music to
Ah,
while we're talking about it would be amazing. But current copyright environment notwithstanding. Anyway, back to you, JDF.
oh, by the way, we have a question from Joe Menten. He's asking if Call of Duty can be defined as a shoot 'em up game.
No,
Mm,
Jomar, no, no. It's a first-person
yeah,
shooter.
yeah,
Although,
it's a
I,
shooter. Yeah.
if I can put it in, Marlon Hurtado Iluscupides put in one of my absolute most favorite games. It's called Starblade. Starblade is a first-person shoot 'em up arcade made by Namco. I'm not quite sure if it can be classified as a shoot 'em up. It might be a rail shooter, as
Well,
Dan
Yeah.
defined it.
it's a rail
Yes,
shooter. Rail
it's a
shooter.
rail
Yeah.
shooter, but Starblade is amazing. It was one of the games that I placed a lot of tokens in when I was in the arcade. Starblade, amazing, and I
I,
played the remix of it on PlayStation One. I don't quite recall. Anyway, continue, JDF.
yeah, I think I remember Starblade from the game Tekken 5 because
Oh yeah.
it was made by Namco, and
Yes.
if you're playing Namco games, they give you like a couple, like a minute to or 30 seconds to a minute of old Galaxian. I remember um, Ridge Racer Revolution, where they allow you to play the bonus round of Galaga or something like that. Then, if you finish if you if you are able to defeat all the enemies, you will get all of the hidden cars in the game.
Ooh, very cool.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that was a mechanic. I just saw it was part of
and
the loading screen.
yeah, and same way Tekken 5, you have the like 30-second playthrough of Starblade as well
Starblade, yeah.
before the opening intro.
hmm There you
Right.
go.
Right.
Wonderful.
So that's it for Thunder Force 3. So let's move on to the harder game, which was Afterburner 2, also for the Sega Genesis and Sega Mega Drive. And I'm glad that Sir Dan was able to see me play that as well yesterday. And I think he really had fun watching me play Thunder Force 3 yesterday. And he was also giving me tips on how to play the game.
Oh,
And
one moment, JD. I have a little bit of an interruption here. Reiki put this up, and I just find the comment funny in the chats. Oh my, Donkey Kong 3 on NES is a shoot 'em up. Donkey Kong 3 where you shoot
yeah.
the upwards. Yeah, in a way, that's a very astute observation. Thanks very much for that one, Reiki. All right, continue, JDM, please.
All right, so this is Afterburner 2 for the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis. So it looks like a typical arcade shoot 'em up game, and a typical 16-bit game. And if you look at it, it looks like, if you're a fan of Sky Destroyer, it really looks like Sky Destroyer but with better graphics and more enemies to shoot at. And
That's what I said to Sir Dan.
and
That's
yeah,
true. That's true.
and
Yeah.
this is
You guys are a lot better off with Sky Destroyer than this one.
Although,
and
if you are a Top Gun fan, this is the game to play.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. So it's like Sky Destroyer and Top Gun without the landing on the carrier.
Oh yeah.
yeah. For me,
Uh,
it's like the offspring of Sky Destroyer
mhm.
and what do you call this game? Space Harrier.
Space Harrier.
Uh,
Yes.
you have
So it's
this. You have the
kind of.
and here in Afterburner 2, you don't have to like hold
The fire button.
the fire button. It just automatically fires its weapons, and what you need to do is to just wait for like an alarm or someone saying fire to fire the missiles
hmm
to the enemies. And you have this small, like this a small target where you could point the machine guns, but I don't think it does anything aside from the planes that's coming behind you. At
hmm
first they don't shoot, but in the later levels they become more aggressive, and at least they don't actually collide with your ship. And
hmm
then um, you also have this accelerator button that makes you go faster, and also a button to the accelerate. And
Which I don't
what
know what the point of those were.
I think it helps you outmaneuver the missiles.
Yeah.
Does it though?
A slim chance to avoid those missiles. Take a slight like advantage, because I tried to hold while playing this game, and while I'm moving around, I tried to hold the throttle button,
Mhm.
and it's going faster. I don't think it's the plane is going faster, or it's just the bar that's going
It
higher.
makes
Yeah,
you go. It does make you go faster, but it's a temporary
yeah,
boost. You don't
yeah.
you get a quick burst of speed. You don't if
Mhm.
you do it and hold it down, it don't stay going faster. You have to keep bursting
Yeah.
it to keep going faster.
Man, just watching this footage makes me want to watch Top Gun Maverick again.
What a film! What a film!
Yeah,
What
that
what
was an
what
amazing film. Have to
what
admit.
you
Yeah.
what you just need is the soundtrack of from Kenny Loggins and
Oh yeah,
Mighty,
absolutely.
was it Mighty Wings?
Yeah, take me
Mighty
on
Wings,
your
yeah.
mighty wings.
Mighty Wings. That
Although I
sounds
will
like
always contend, that Iron Eagle is better than Top Gun. The original one, anyway. Iron Eagle is better than Top Gun. That's my take. Mhm. Okay.
What you want?
It's
What
a
do you
close
want?
call.
Danger Zone in the background.
Sorry, Dan, you were saying.
It's a close call. Iron Eagle
Mhm.
and Top Gun. I can see where you're coming from, mate.
Yeah. Plot wise, Iron Eagle beats Top Gun.
Yeah, I
I said
agree.
what I
I agree.
said. I said what I said, and fight me in the comments. Go ahead.
Plot-wise, I agree. I agree. Top Gun's a love story, isn't it? Really,
Pretty much, yeah.
the original
Mhm.
Top Gun's a love story. Really.
Yeah. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Iron Eagle, just Google it. Thank me later. Okay.
But yeah, so did you enjoy these games, so JDM?
apparently Afterburner 2 not so much. The only flex that I had with Afterburner 2 is I got to the ninth stage, or the tenth
Ninth.
stage.
That's
Ninth,
still
just the
respectable, mate.
ninth.
That's still respectable.
Mhm.
So I still have how many? 11 levels to go.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Still have to go.
and there's really no indication where you are already in the game, because suddenly I thought I was in stage 3, then suddenly I get to stage 5 or stage 6,
All
then
right,
there's this
right,
bonus level,
right. What
right?
the hell is that?
What, oh my god, what's happening? It's like
It does tell you.
I just went too fast and skipped the other levels.
It's called the warp zone. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
Although
It says at bottom. You see that it says stage 9, and it tells you
yeah.
on each stage.
I was gonna say though, I mean, to Jomar's point in the chat, so if I can interrupt quickly, he was talking about Call of Duty. He knows it's a first person shooter, but the question is, can it also be a shoot 'em up? The thing about it is, many games have borrowed many elements from many different game genres
Yeah,
nowadays. When you think about Call of Duty, you think of it as a first person shooter, but it certainly it has elements of first person of shoot 'em ups, because you know bullet hells. You are trying to
Mm.
reposition yourself so you are not where the bullets are going to be coming into, and certain weapons. Well, they don't necessarily have power ups while you're playing it, but you can upgrade while you're in between. So that's also an element of shoot 'em ups. There are certain shoot 'em ups like Fantasy Zone where you can buy upgrades to your
yeah.
weaponry in between. So
I think the key thing for me
mhm,
that differentiates between a shooter and a shoot 'em up, so
yeah,
Call of Duty and Thunder Force 3,
yes,
is uh, a shoot 'em up is on an XY
plane.
axis.
Okay,
Mm.
access. Yes.
You've only got two fields of movement, where obviously you've got your 3D aspect
Yes.
um, in your Call of Duty. So
Mhm.
I'm in quite a lot of shoot 'em up communities, and
Mhm.
it's a bit of a to
Mhm.
class a first person shooter as a shoot 'em up is a bit
Is,
of a
which
really.
is there such a thing as a 3D shoot 'em up, Dan?
Well, again, rail shooters would be
Rail
would be
shooters.
3D shoot 'em ups really, but again, it's like any genre, isn't it? They all cross over, so there's
Mhm.
no black and white definition really.
Yeah, and the Siebert in the chat says, "Never say die, Iron Eagle." Got me singing there. Yes, Siebert. All right.
Did
Excellent,
did,
excellent.
did they come out in the same year? Because
They came
I
out.
think
No, Iron Eagle were, I think, 85 or 86. I'm
Mhm.
sure I'm sure excuse me, I'm sure Iron Eagle came out after because it was essentially
Mhm.
a rip-off, but a
Yes.
great rip-off,
mm,
really.
Yeah.
86, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes the rip-offs are do it better. What can I say?
So
I-
I'll say to you, JDM, I mean, I enjoyed watching those videos of you. Thunder Force 3, like I say, potentially, to me, that's the greatest game ever, potentially.
Mm. Okay.
What we've got to remember about all these challenges that we've done is that first of all, you've got to beat the game. Okay, so a lot of what we're experiencing here, 90% of what you played so far from all you chaps so far, you've only played the first few stages.
mm,
Um, but once you beat the game, then you've got all the extra difficulties to beat. Then you've got to beat these extra difficulties using only one credit. Then you've got to beat those extra difficulties not dying at all. So there's a lot of, when you get into these games, there's a lot of depth and a lot of different perspectives you get to see them from. Because when you get to that stage of replaying a game of not dying at all or on a harder level, it's a different game to the one that you started playing because different
mm.
boss patterns evolve. Different, one of the genius things about Thunder Force 3 is the boss patterns you fight on normal difficulty change on later difficulties. So it
Ah,
totally screws you up. When you get to him, you're like, wait a second, that guy would fire like a split beam, and instead of
Mm.
it's splitting, it
Yes.
split and then it comes
yeah.
back. So
and,
that's what I love
and
about.
that's the moment you go, "What the hell?"
Yeah, and that's what amazes me. When a lot of people say these games are simple, and they say they're simple because they're playing once, they've got no endurance, and no backbone, and they quit.
Mm.
They go, oh, God, it's crap. This, I'm crap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And basically, what they're saying is, I'm crap. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah.
The quitters. If you
Pretty
keep
much.
going and actually get into it, the more there's loads it throws at you. There's you keep playing, and you keep finding these things, and you get more and more joy out of it.
Mm.
So I think you'll enjoy that the more you dig into Thunder Force 3, mate.
Yeah, I actually want to play the rest of the levels and maybe uh, get familiar with the levels and actually play those difficult levels. But for now, I'm really liking the Thunder Force because the first time I played it, I didn't even reach in the other levels. I didn't even reach the final bosses on that levels, but yesterday I was not expecting beating one of the levels with no continues. So I think I got used to the controls and I got familiar where the enemies are coming from. I got over the obstacles and maybe I will try to play that much more seriously in the following days. So
Nice one,
thank you
mate.
so much for that.
Yeah, no problem, mate. No problem. I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate. I mean, something that so John N10 has just said the best arcade game of its time, and I
Mhm.
agree. I mean, you got to remember the Afterburner arcade game had you were in the cab as well, so you
Yes.
not just got all that excitement. To me, it's the most exciting game of all time. It's amazing. And when you get in the cab and you are moving with it and feeling in that zone with it, it is a mind blowing experience. But one of the things that I love so much about Afterburner is the margin for error is really small. And most shoot 'em ups and a lot of games in general are about you developing a rhythmic pattern. So even if you're playing a platform, it's about running along, jump at that time, shoot at that time, duck at that time, and finding that rhythmic pattern. What I love about Afterburner 2 is it makes it hard. Its margin for error is so small that you can get knocked out of that rhythmic pattern. So you have to constantly adjust. It's a game I can play, and I always play it on the hardest difficulty setting, and I can either finish it or die by the time I get to stage 14. And a lot of games, a lot of games you play and you're going to finish it. A lot of games, yeah, I know what to do at this point. I know where to go, and it's predictable. The great games, but say like you're playing Super Mario World, you're going to beat Super Mario World. Say you're playing Zelda, you're going to beat Zelda. I after 30 years of playing Afterburner 2, I can't say whether if I put it on its hardest setting, I can't say if I'm going to beat it or not. Because if I get knocked out that rhythm, I've got to adjust on the fly because it's so tight a game. So that to me makes it so exciting. Every time I put it on, it's like a fresh challenge to me. So, so you've got plenty to get your teeth into there, Sir JDM. Definitely, mate.
I'll get back to this game and defeat everyone, including the.
Thunder Force 3 is an easy game, I have to say. I beat it this. I tried to no death run it this morning. I beat it with 17 lives remaining. So you will get good at that. And then you'll get good at that in no time, mate. You'll get good at that in no time, mate.
So I still need to see Cerberus and Chaos and the base guarder. Those
the bosses,
the hidden. Yeah.
You'll have them licked, mate. You'll get there. Give it a few more weeks. You'll get there. You'll get there. What about you then, Sir Joe? I'm expecting Sir Joe to say these games are shit. I didn't know what we're doing.
And that's the show, guys. Goodbye. All right. Hi, guys. Okay. So, for the benefit of those people who just are listening or watching us right now, so the episode for tonight is Danger Dan's Sega Shoot 'em Up Challenge. Okay, so basically, Sir Dan issued this challenge for the Timeless Gamer crew to play the Sega Shoot 'em Up games. Sega Mega Drive Shoot 'em Up games. So he listed a few on the easy bracket, quote unquote easy bracket, and a few games are on the hard bracket. Yeah. So the objectives were each one of us will play one from the easy bracket and one from the hard bracket as much as possible. Try to finish both selections, and not cheating your way out of it, and and may God have mercy on our souls. All right, so I was not able to stream. Well, the plan was for me to stream it, my games anyway. But we had to go. But we had to go to the hospital for a few days. So I was able to. So I brought my Vita to emulate some of those games, and then eventually to my PSP. Just to, like if I'm free and I'll just play my games there. And before we get to that, a few takeaways that I learned doing this challenge. Number one, I love Sir Dan first and foremost. Okay, I love Sir Dan. Okay,
all right, here we go.
Oh my God. Okay. No. I mean, doing this show, like we always say, this program really does prove how professional each of the panelists are. All right. So we play games that we never thought that we might be playing. Okay. Just to show that the things that we do, okay, the things that we do for the show, and this is one of those instances that, okay, we just have to put our asses on the ringer and just do it for content's sake. Sure, that's fine. It's part of the gaming experience, yeah. The first impressions are always fun to know about, and number two. With after playing Gradius back in the NES and having those options, those shooting aids, those training wheels, as as I used to call them, you cannot really go back once you experience that. Personally, yeah. Okay. So JDM did that.
Okay, we have a new meme.
Yeah, we have a new meme.
We have a new meme for the website. Um. So. When I played these Sega Mega Drive Genesis games, I'm like, it's just I'm not sure if it's an evolution of it, but after once you experience the options from Gradius, some of the games tried having a variations of those,
Mhm.
like in Thunder Force 3, like in uh like um uh Miss Ice game, what was that,
Still
um
Empire.
Steel Empire, and Eliminate Down, like in Sir Joel's game. So
Mhm.
those particular games have the options, variety on them, and I'm like, okay, because it really does add to the experience, and it kind of gives you that reassurance that the game is at least giving you some help. That
Mhm.
being said, I found that even with even if you can even if you add more power ups, more bullets coming from your side, it adds more shit to the screen. You know what I mean? I mean, it's bad. I mean, I'm like,
Yes.
okay, so I'm grateful that I'm getting these power ups. Yeah, more bullets from my side, because bullet hell coming from every angle of the screen. Enemies are trying to shoot me down, and they got all of these, and they got all of these bullets coming at me, and I got just one single stream of bullets, and then that's it. But as far as you get all of those power ups, you're getting a lot more ammunition as well. But
Mhm.
then again, if you keep on firing, it also adds more to the screen, and it kind of makes you even more confused, because you don't know. It's bad enough that you have a hailstorm of bullets coming at you, and then you're gonna add more bullets in the screen coming from your side.
In a way, it adds to the clutter. It adds to the
It adds to
clutter
the
on screen.
clutter,
Yeah.
right? Um, it adds to the clutter. Um, Number three, soundtrack. Like Sergey
Mhm.
Day mentioned,
Mhm.
soundtrack we have come a long way from the 8-bit era of the soundtrack. Coming to by playing these games, I found the majority of all of the games that Sir Dan listed have great soundtracks to them. Okay, um, if there's nothing else, at least you can enjoy the soundtrack. And the 16-bit metallic techno um, style of the Genesis, the Mega Drive, really shines here in
Yeah,
this game.
spot on.
Number four,
They're suited, aren't they?
right,
The Yamaha sound chip
this is the Yamaha soundtrack. There you go.
is fantastic. This is what gets me. You know, when people say, especially Nintendo fans, say the Mega Drive sounds shit, they don't listen to these songs, because these songs are they sound so unique as well. They have a lovely techno trebly bite to them with that metallic edge. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Sir Joe. Thank you, mate.
And number four, in regarding with the clutter, we have also we've also gone a long way from the 8-bit era, that, well, because of the visual limitations of the time. Here in the 16-bit of things, you can add more background and foreground as well. That said, because you can add a little bit more visuals into the stages, you don't even know if what you're getting at is something that you can avoid, or it's just part of the background. Like for example, with when I was watching Sir Dan, Sir J Dims, and Miss Ice footages, a lot of those times, and I played some of these games too. I'm like, am I supposed to avoid that, or can I just fly straight through it? So your first instinct would be trying to avoid it. Yeah. Although that said, for example, with Sir Joel's playthrough with Eliminate Down, the first stage, what I like about the first stage is like um, I always thought that when you're a space shooter kind of thing, I like the idea that you have the fleet behind you. Like you're not the only one fighting the enemies. At least in the foreground, you have those starships right behind you. They're also fighting alongside you. Kind, you know what I mean? I mean, they don't actually, help you defeat enemies, but at least you know that they're there. It's like,
They've got your back.
I mean, they have your back. I mean, it's not
Mhm.
just you,
Yes.
right? And then after a few seconds, they're gone. But what I'm trying to say is, um, with the developers of these games, they really did. Uh, I'm not sure if they made the foregrounds as is just to make it more aesthetically pleasing, or just to make things worse for the player, just to confuse them more. All right, so to my games.
Mhm.
Um, so on the easy bracket, I tried all of them, but the game that really got stuck to that I managed to finish and really stuck to me was this game called Grey Lancer.
Grey, yeah,
Um,
Gley Lancer, Gley Lancer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share that now with Grey Lancer. So what stood out to me with Grey Lancer is the opening sequence. And I played Fantasy Star 4, another
Mhm.
game that Sir Dan recommended to me. And what I like about this is that um, they have this like an anime sequence. Oh, ad.
Mhm.
Um, you know what? Funny thing is, Sir JDM gave me a YouTube account that disables the ads. But because I'm using the Timeless Gamer the Timeless Gamer channel, the Timeless Gamer YouTube account,
Mhm.
it still shows the ad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
um,
the entire ad block discussion is something that we can talk about later on. But yeah, it's a giant controversy right now. Anyway,
Yeah.
continue, John.
so with what I'm saying, so as you can see in the screen, for all of those who are watching us, and for the benefit of those who are listening to the audio portion of the show, so on the opening sequence, they have these anime cutscenes,
Mhm.
and it kind of reminded me of Star Ocean, Xenogears, and Fantasy Star. Um, they're not really moving a lot, but at least some of the characters do. Just I think that it's just the lips that like the team that they're talking. Yeah. Um, so the one that I played was the fan translated one, and then eventually it got carried over. Now there's an um, official port of it. Uh, and I'm like, and as a JRPG player, I kind of like that, because it kind of gives me what's the story is. It's not just once you press start, it's just you. I mean, you're already flying, you're already shooting enemies. What the game is about, right? At least here, they're trying to come up with a story. So
Mhm.
basically, uh, this fleet, for some reason, uh, with the alien enemies. Yeah. So this fleet got warped somewhere else, and then we have the female protagonist who is the daughter of the captain of that missing fleet, and she said, "Oh, uh, uh, where my dad at?" And they're like, "Oh, he gone." And like, and what you gonna do about it? I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. Fuck him." and, and homegirl is like, I'm gonna save my dad." And and the superiors are like, "Bitch, you ain't." And then and then she was like, "Oh no, so my dad's screwed. No one's gonna save him." And then she was just urged by this roommate of hers. I'm like, and she's like, "Girl, we got this experimental ship, all right, and no one's using it. So I don't know. Maybe you can just get on board on that ship and save your dad yourself, right?" So knowing this girl, from what I gather, has no flight skills whatsoever. She's just a random girl inside that ship. Yeah, so she took it upon herself to jump on board on that ship and 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 escape the fleet to save her dad. And I'm like, oh, how easy is it to just hijack that plane, right?
Yeah, no security measures whatsoever. It's just
Not
highly
recommended at
experimental planes
all.
sitting around there. You just jump on and just go.
I'm
Did
like,
you?
did she flash some boob on the guard? I'm
Of course
like
you did. Of course. Thing is, so Joe, did you save the dad? Because you can get two endings on this game.
So okay. So long story short, yeah. So I did manage to. See. For some reason, she already boarded the plane. Yeah, it's slowly going down to the flight carrier, and the superiors are like, "Oh no, we have a rogue ship going out. What should we do, Captain? I don't know. Do you want me to stop it? I mean, I can just press the button right here." Oh no, that's way too much of a hassle.
Very good.
They did not do shit stopping this girl. Well, anyway, so I did manage to save the dad. I did manage to finish and did manage to finish the game. In between the stages, you got these cutscenes as well. So it's not just the opening sequence. As you progress through the stages, there's a few bit more anime cutscenes in there that you'll see, uh, just to carry the story along. And like Sir Dan mentioned before, I'm a story guy. That's why I'm harping on this.
Mhm.
Uh, ads anyway. So the things that I like about this game, it's a horizontal space shooter, of course. Yeah, and what I like about this is that it's not just you going on like flying on the horizontal. There are at times when your ship has to go up and down depending on where the enemies are. So the game will automatically redirect you.
Mhm.
So the camera angle will pan upwards if like for example if there's an enemy or there's an enemy mothership that you're supposed to destroy, and you need to outmaneuver that big ship. So it goes so the camera angle just pans up and down and you go along with it. So it's not just a horizontal thing. So you do move up and down depending on the situation. You still got the options. Is it safe to say to call them options?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Mhm.
that's what we always
Gonna
call them
say
anyway.
bits, generally known as bits and options, and then additional
Bits,
bits you get, mate.
right? So what I liked about there's a variety of weapons that you can use here. Um, the power ups themselves. So you start off with just you. The power ups themselves. So every power up is a different option. Okay. And these power ups gives you either a laser, homing, like a flamethrower, and I always go with the homing one, right? Um, because as long as because because they track all of your enemies. You don't have to follow them. The bullets will just follow the enemies where they are. That's it. Um, some
A
of
lot of
these options like
homing shots. Sorry, homing shots tend to be favourite with a lot of people. But there's a few games we've had on today. So Twinkle Tail and Thunder
Yes.
Force 3 are actually quite deceiving. The developers of those games knew that people rely on homing shots and actually make it harder when they use them homing shots. So you've got to
Then
be
you
smart
can
about when you use them. Whereas Glay Lancer is definitely a game that is much easier if you use just the homing shots, mate. So
if you use the homing shots right
you
there.
did right, mate. You did right.
Um, Although that being said, I felt that the homing shots are designed to make it easier, but but I felt that their damage is a lot weaker.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Like
that's
for
normally
example,
the case.
on the
Most,
screen,
most,
you got the cannon, like the cannonball napalm shot,
yeah, yeah.
very
oh yeah.
slow, but a
Most shoot
few
'em ups
hits and
to
then
that.
the enemies are gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most shooter maps. The homing shot is essentially it makes things a little bit easier to manage. But when you get to a boss or when you get to a harder, higher HP opponent, they're harder to take down. So a lot of games you have to manage it, but Glay Lance is very forgiving with the homing shot, definitely.
And I can probably appreciate that kind of thinking because you want to make the game balance. You don't want to make them you don't want to make all of the ammunition damage the same. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
you have variety, but there should have some caveats onto it.
yeah,
So it kind of so it really plays onto the strategy, like what's the best ammunition for this stage versus what's the ammunition that you prefer. Like I would prefer the homing shots because it makes things easier for me. I mean, as someone like the majority of people here who don't have the hand-eye coordination anymore, when we try to
Yep. Hmm.
this is the easy way out without relying on cheating. Yeah, this is the next best thing for cheating as we can go. Um, so, anyways, what? Yeah. So what you can see right there, the green ammunition shot. That's the home. That's the somewhat homing shot. So every so I memorized the so I memorized the icon that gives me that, and anything else I just ignored. I just ignored the rest. I always use this one. I'm like, I could care less. Fuck you all. I ain't got no time for this. So as you can see in the screen, you're going up, right? You're going vertical. You're going vertical because the stage demands you to go up. So it's like this. So the camera angle will pan up, will pan down diagonally, and so now and because you don't know what's going so because you don't necessarily predict what will be the topography like uh, until the camera pans it over, you're going to be a lot more careful dodging enemies as well. So there's a distinct challenge into this game, despite of it being on the easy bracket. But hey, um, so long story short, anime cutscenes that tells a story, which I like, variety of weapons, with each of their pros and cons, um, multi multi angle, quote unquote, uh, when you're traveling through screen to the screen. Oh, the bosses. Okay, the bosses are not really that hard, really. Well, it's not as hard as I thought they would be. Um, to my understanding, there are no there's no smart bombs on this. Um, if I remember correctly, like there's no flashing
No,
bombs or a
there's no
special move that you can pull off. It's just you and your bullets. That's it.
yeah.
The enemies, the bosses themselves, like any other shoot 'em up games, they can be very predictable. Um, their bullets are not flying fast towards at you, so they're easily avoidable. Well, a lot easy to outmaneuver, should I say? And yeah, so I like it. So I like the game. I managed to finish it. Um, yeah. So the
Man,
game,
that's one veiny scrotum. Okay, sorry.
yeah, the boss is-
It's a shame.
Sorry.
Shame you didn't get, it's a shame you didn't get further and eliminate down, Sir Joel, because that has literally got some scrotums.
My goodness. We could pretty much tell what the developers are thinking. Man, this is balls. Okay.
Literal.
Yeah,
Literally.
exactly. Well, it makes me kind of wonder whether the game itself is something that Joe would consider because of the fact that I think Retrobit uh Retrobit has come out with the physical version of it on their site. If you like it enough, Joe, you might get the physical version of it after 30 years. It's the official release according to them. In the
all
West,
right.
anyway.
So on the hard bracket, so the hard bracket
Mhm.
is where the shit hits the fan. Okay, at this point,
Oh, there's something worse than balls on the screen. Okay, anyway, continue.
so at this point, even my Vita was like, "Oh fuck this, I'm out." So my Vita died on me. I had some battery issues. It's like my Vita was like smoking a cigarette. I'm like, fuck this,
Yeah.
man.
Okay.
You can kill me, man.
That's it. I'm
By the
out.
way, sir, by the way, Sir Joy, are you using the analog stick or are you using
The D-pad.
the
I'm
D-pad?
using the D-pad. I'm going old school.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else, I'm like, if I can't play it on the actual Sega, if I cannot play it in an actual console, at least I'm gonna play it on the D-pad, right?
Mhm.
So and I had no time to mod my other Vita, so I got my PSP, put Retro Arch on it, so I was able to play some of the games on the hard bracket,
Mhm.
and still I'm still using the D-pad. They all work, by the way, with the PSP. Surprisingly, it's a Mega Drive, um, and I tried all of them for as much as I could, for as much as I can tolerate. Elimin Elemental Master, what the hell? So I tried.
That's easy. That's
So
one of the easy ones.
no, I mean, I tried. That's the first game that I tried just to test out the Retro Arch on the PSP. Um, and then okay, once I know that it's working, still, um, fuck that game. Uh, so so I tried a few here, and I'm just gonna mention these games because they weren't mentioned by the other panelists yet. Uh,
Mhm.
um, we got here Atomic Runner, one of Sir Dan's favorite games actually, and a few takeaways on that game is that the way he jumps, it feels awkward. Like um, when he jumps, it feels like he's jumping from the moon. You know what I mean?
It's got, well,
Like
it
very
is.
slow,
You,
and it's not like you can. It's not like you can move him while he's mid-air. When he jumps, he just jumps. So I'm guessing you're just jumping. You're just jumping just to avoid some of the enemies, or just jumping on some platforms. Okay, so he jumps kind of slow. What? How can we make it more awkward? Making him jump higher. so, so every once in a while, you'll get a power up that will make him jump higher, and I'm like, it doesn't make him jump any better. He's still slow as fuck. So, although when you jump higher, though, you have because you need that to make those impossible jumps when you're running from a cliff to another cliff. And the game and it's not one of those games that, oh, it's Atomic Runner, he runs. So and he, when you tend to stop running, the game says, oh, well, what why the hell are you stopping? It says Atomic Runner. If you're not gonna run, I'm gonna run. So even if you're stationary, the game will just keep on moving, right? And you have no choice but to move. And um some of and there are a lot of enemies coming from the back, as always, with all these kinds of games anyway. So there are enemies at the back, and enemies at the front, enemies above, enemies below. Sure. um yeah, just one of the main takeaways from the game. It's just how he jumps. It just kind of weirded me out. The other one here would be, what's the other one? Um, I did play it Afterburner 2. I gotta say, like I did mention before, I had a lot more luck playing Sky Destroyer than this game. The machine gun fire does nothing. Virtually, it does nothing. I don't care what anybody says. It does.
The machine gun fire is specifically for enemies that come from behind, not the ones in front. The ones in front you use your missiles for.
I'm like, what? I mean, why is it even there?
It's,
and,
it-
and,
when
and,
you,
It's always on auto fire.
yeah, when you get to
it's on
later
auto fire. I'm like, why is it on auto fire? I'm not even hitting anything.
stage-
and, I, and,
It's
I, and I'm like, okay. And at first, I thought that, okay, maybe if the enemy jets are a little bit closer, maybe I can get a shot. No, turns out you still need to use the missiles just to destroy them. And at first I thought, oh, that's why you have the crosshairs. Those are for the missiles. You need to lock them first. Lock them up first with your crosshairs. Then you release the missiles so you can get a hit. At first I thought, oh, I need those crosshairs are for the machine gun fire, but no, those are for the missiles. Enemy missiles, um, at time because at times I'm lucky enough to shoot them down. I'm trying to outmaneuver it. Like Sir JDM mentioned, you have your throttle up and down, makes you supposedly go faster and slower. I'm like, does it though? and I'm like, and I said to Sir Dan, uh, I felt that there's not much of outmaneuvering. It just felt like that to me anyway. What's the first game that I played? The first Afterburner on the Master System. Another challenge that Sir Dan gave us before. I'm like, and then I thought, I think I liked the first one, the first game a lot better than this one, because on the first Afterburner game, I was able to just ignore some of the enemies, and for some reason I got to stage 10 without even realizing it. So just like Sir JDM, I must have flown way too fast. I broke the sound barrier. I traveled warp speed. Suddenly I'm already in stage 9 without even realizing it. Oh, sundown, sunset, it's evening. Oh, there's no indication for you. There's no indication that you're already past the level until you die. Anyways, that's one of the my first impressions of Afterburner 2. And what else do we got here? Um, oh, the game that really really bothered me was this one, which I'm going to show it to you guys.
Hmm.
It's called Twin Cobra.
Mm.
Twin Cobra. Okay.
Twin Cobra. There you go. That's Twin Cobra right there. And at first, I thought like the gameplay kind of reminds me of 1942,
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
kind of, or or the first iterations of Raiden,
Hmm.
and it's okay at first until you get blown up. There's a sequence like a 3 5 second sequence that will show what happened, how many lives do you have, what's your current score, and then goes back at the very beginning of the stage. I'm
Hmm.
like, dude, you don't really need the sequence. You don't have to tell me that. You don't have to stop the game just to tell me that. I mean,
Nah, it's the game rubbing your nose in it. Okay.
I'm like, you only got not only that you only reached this far, but I will show you how I'll show you how much lives you have,
Hmm.
how much points do you get, but not only that, I will kick your ass right at the very beginning. So
Hmm.
it's not like one of those games that when you die, you just start over where you died.
Mm.
No, it's bad enough that the game will show you this sequence that you don't really need because all of the information you can already see on the screen right there, and then it kicks you back right at the beginning.
Mm.
I'm like, fuck this game, man.
It, that's
Out
fine
of,
if
out of all the
you're.
games,
Yeah.
I mean, the hard. There's a lot of hard games in there, but I would say Twin Cobra is the hardest. Twin Cobra's it's a real tough game because, like I said,
JDM was saying something. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Dad. Finish your point, and then let
no,
JDM
I
say
would
what
say
he was about to say.
Sega made the default setting on this harder than the arcade, so
Mm.
that gives you an idea. And the arcade was a bitch. So
Yeah, you were about to say JDM.
Yeah, the sequence, the 3 to 5 minute sequence. I think that's good if you get the game over, then you start at the
Right?
beginning, but not in the
Yeah.
middle. If
well,
you die, then you
no,
just continue where you left.
Actually, at first I thought that
it
was
is
the case, like it's already a game over, and I'm like, oh, what? Just one life? That's it? No, it will just start you back from the beginning. And I'm like, can we just have this sequence? If I'm really out of options, if I really run out of lives, if I run out of continues, just show me that. Not stop
Mm.
the game right in the middle of it just to tell me all of this and then start me off from the very beginning. Hell,
well, at least you
Uh,
tried.
um,
At least you tried, mate.
at least I tried. At least I
like
tried.
it reeks of the Nelson meme, like ha ha,
Yeah.
Oh, and another game that so another game. Oh, so it didn't show it here, but in my playthrough, like I remember I was so annoyed with all of these games on the hard bracket. I almost threw out I almost threw out my PSP out of the window, and I
Mhm.
was cursing a lot more than I should. So they had to, so I had to step out of the ward because
Oh
I'm
my
bothering the
god.
other kids. Anyway, and I also tried Biohazard Battle. Um, so I'm not gonna show it. I'm not gonna show the footage there, but Biohazard Battle. I you get to choose from four. I don't know. Are they bugs?
Bugs.
Are there bugs like uh so the ships are bugs anyway, so you choose one of those, and I'm like, at first I thought each of them will have their own ammunition, but no, they all played the same. It's just a color, they're just the difference is just how they look.
They
Same power,
evolve different.
they do.
so you might not have got that far in the game, or
Oh,
you might not have
definitely.
got all
Oh,
them power ups to see
oh,
it.
they
So
do. Ah, okay. So because I only manage up, I only manage up until stage 2.
yeah.
I got stuck in stage 2, and the game won't let me leave. I don't know. Maybe the game just got sentient and fell in love with me. I'm not gonna let you go, man. You're gonna stay here with me forever, man.
Oh my gosh.
No amount of sage states will save you, man. What I like about the so despite that, always if there's a the power ups kind of confuses me because at first I thought that so the power ups are are color coded, and the best one that I could remember was using was getting the red orb. It will give you the homing laser, of course, homing, right? The homing laser power up. But for some reason, at times, I'm getting the red, but I'm getting this circular fire. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, I mean, did I got the right orb? And I'm like, or maybe it's just orange and it looked like red to me. Anyway, always get the red orb. That will give you the homing laser. Love it. Um, uh, if you can find it, just try, hold on to it. Hold on to it with dear life. Never let it go. Just and I also tried Twinkle Stars.
Twinkle Tail.
I think
Oh,
I
Twinkle Tails, right? Twinkle Tails.
Mm.
And I'm like,
I made the
this
same
is
mistake before.
Twinkle Tails. This is and at first I'm like, this is kind of look like Elemental Master
Mhm.
because you have your variety of ammunition on the side, and and I watched Miss I's playthrough of it, and I'm like, this kind of looks like an action RPG, an adventure game, a dungeon crawler, and a shooter all wrapped up into one.
Mm.
And it also gives out this opening sequence of a story, kind of. And the way I played, of course, I used the homing orbs, the homing fireballs, yeah, of
Mhm.
course. And my initial strategy was just move slow, like like tap the up button one at a time. If there's any enemies, stop and shoot, stop and shoot, stop and shoot. Because
Mhm.
it's not like one of those games that the enemies are just coming at you. The camera will just move on its own, and you have no choice but to advance. Here, you have a little bit more control. If you stop, the game stops right there. So my strategy was okay. So move, enemies, stop and shoot, stop and shoot, stop and shoot. I was able to reach level 7. Is it level 7? No. But I did manage a little, but I managed a little bit further than I thought that I would than I would have before I ran out of continues. And yeah, and I'm like, oh, those power ups. So you got the fire special, and what's the other one? The white orb,
Yes,
the
the
white
huge orb.
the spiral
Yeah,
orb, yeah. And I'm like,
spinning on.
useless, fucking useless. I'm like, out of all of the power up, the shoot 'em up games with the power ups, you would think that if you use that, it will just obliterate everything. Not really. I mean, I'm using it on the boss. I'm like, is this even doing anything? Like, I mean, they're quite particularly weak than that I would initially thought that they would be. The damage is not really that significant. I'm better off just using the homing orbs anyway, or just whatever. If there's just way too much enemies, sure, I'll use them. But I just question how much damage they actually deal with the boss fights. Oh, going back. Oh, sorry. Sorry to do this, but going back to Gray Lancer. Um, because I remember this. Because now I remembered it. This is a Genesis game. The best that I could think of, it will just be at least stage 6 or at least stage 8, because because back in NES, that stage 8 is usually is the last stage, right, the last dungeon. That's how we were raised on Contra. That's how we were raised with Gradius and Salamander. I'm like, okay, shit, all right, I'm already stage 8, and then I got to stage 9. The fuck? Okay, sequence. Oh, oh, I'm already talking to Dad. A little bit choppy on the communications, but at least he's there. He's alive. Okay, I'm already stage 9. I'm already talking to the Dad. That means I'm already close. And then I got stage 10. Stage 10. Okay, sure. Okay, maybe stage 10. Okay, it's still an even number. Maybe the game will end in stage 10. And then I got stage 11. What the fuck? Oh, stage 11. Wanna shoot him up? And then that's it. Stage 11. That's it. So the game ends in stage 11. But still, stage 11.
It's a nice even number, you know.
And
It's a prime number.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, well, good on you for trying them all, though. And like I say, if you got to, is it Glay Lancer? It's an easy game, but I wouldn't say it was the easiest of the easier ones. I think there's a decent challenge, so you did well to finish it, mate. You know, it's a you've done well. I'm assuming you did it on the normal difficulty setting, not the easy.
I did it on the normal difficulty.
Yeah. See,
The way if I can add, the way Joe described his games, his playthroughs, it reminded me a little bit of Gunstar Heroes. On the way that different weaponry, kind of like move and shoot, and everything. I'm not sure if Gunstar Heroes can be considered shoot 'em up, but I'm not.
Run and gun, you see, that's a run and gun.
That's a run and gun. That's slightly different genre than run and gun.
Like I say, I mean, they all overcross. The main thing with shoot 'em ups is a Twinkle Tail is actually an exception, but the main thing is that the screen is usually moving.
Okay.
Like with Atomic Runner, but it's not always the case.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different. Yeah, they all cross over and whatnot, what have you. But I think listening to all your accounts of it, the big thing that I'd say to anyone, and it's I've had loads of experience with shoot 'em up, so it's easy for me to pick out. But I find it so funny how easy people, not just yourselves, but how people find the comfort zones in these games and stick there.
Well, funniest thing then, now you mentioned comfort zones. Reikyu actually brought this up in the chats. He said he brought up Squoon on the NES, the submarine, the pink submarine game. And the funniest thing is, I like playing that game. I'm not really a big shmup guy, but the fact that he brought up Squoon, and I do remember, I love playing Squoon. I don't know why. You find that comfort zone, and you play it, I guess. I mean, you're right.
Certain things suit different people, don't they? But it's one of the things that I've noticed is like a lot of you're all about the homing shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Miss Eileen did it in Twinkle Tail. Sir JDM, when he played Thunder Force 3, wanted that homing shot. Sir Joe did it, and these game developers knew that. These game developers know that we're going to give you some comfort zone, but we're going to reward the people who push themselves outside that comfort zone and try other weapons in different areas. Because a big secret to all these games, like what you found Sir Joe with Eliminate Down, is using the right power up at the right time. And a lot of people can easily find themselves, right, how do I take my favorite power up and make that work for this game? Because what
Yes.
you've got to do is you've got to find the best power for every situation. You see, so it's different, but it's been great listening to you. I've loved it. I've really loved listening to all your takes and your experience. Don't forget, this is just the start, boys and girl.
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
is just the tip of the iceberg. You know what I
Yes.
mean? You need to be going back to these games now. Find your favorite one,
Hmm.
finish it, then finish it only using one credit,
Hmm.
and then finish it on all the harder difficulty settings. And if you do that, I guarantee you might start to think, actually, I really like this genre. Actually, I'm going to get more
Hmm.
into it because there's a lot to get into.
Yeah, the appreciation, I guess. You find out the beauty of it. You won't find out the beauty of the genre or the particular game until you really delve into it, I guess. And we check the thought process, not just of the developer, but also of the intended audience. There you
Exactly. I just think I think shoot 'em ups is such a I think they're an amazing genre. All these games I've given you, I absolutely love with a passion.
go. Hmm.
And they'd all be in my top 100 games of all time. I absolutely love them all.
Hmm.
But I think it's because they're so different to
Hmm.
what modern games demand from the mindset you have to approach it with. That a
Hmm.
lot of people struggle to get into it and struggle to get deep into it. Not just get into it, but to get deeper into it.
Hmm.
But if you do, there's some fantastic stuff in there.
And we're very honored, Dan. The fact that you actually shared these games with us, it's like a personal thing. You're sharing your favorites with us, and we very much appreciate that.
Aha! Oh
It's an
no, no,
insight.
Sir Joel, careful. But we will get even.
Oh,
Mark my words, we will get even.
yeah, that's true. That's true. And the fact is, we appreciate it. We love you, Dan. It's a great insight into your personality and who you are. But yeah, we're gonna get back at you. Trust me on
Bring
that.
up the meme.
We're getting back at you.
Yeah, I'm up for playing. I like all genres.
Yeah.
I like all genres. So
Did you hear that, Joe? He likes all genres.
Okay.
there's not many.
There you-
I can't think of a genre. I can't think of a genre. I don't enjoy playing.
Okay, now challenge accepted. Here you go. We'll think of something for.
I've got your Sega Bass fishing on my wish list now.
Really? Okay. There you go.
I'm all for trying stuff like that. So
All right. Well then, challenge accepted. We'll for a future episode we'll consider a genre that will make Dan throw his controller against the wall. Anyway, all right. All right. I think that's the episode. Dan, you can wrap it up if you like.
I think did Sir Dan already shared his game, his
Oh, not
favorite game?
yet. No, that's true.
Yeah.
No, Dan hasn't even shared his particular games or his certain love of it. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, I mean, my two favorite. I think they're all favorite games or brilliant games. My two favorite games of all time. So I love Deus Ex as an RPG. That's a contender for my favorite game ever.
Yes.
This is a contender for my favorite game ever. Thunder Force 3.
Thunder Force 3. Okay.
I think it's just amazing. This is me playing it earlier on. This is a recording that I made this morning just to. I wanted to show JDM that give him a few tips on a few boss patterns and all that. But I just think it's a work of this game's just it's just such a buzz. It's such a buzz. It's let's say the soundtrack's amazing. The intensity, the speed. There's no slowdown at all. No slowdown. You are constantly having to think on your feet. There's a constant. It's really varied. Every level's got its theme. It's got its environmental challenges. It's a work of genius for me. And one of the reasons I think this is so good is because I think the normal difficulty setting is pretty easy and pretty beatable. On this run, like I say, I beat this on normal with 17 lives left by the end of the game, but the hard difficulty, the mania difficulty setting, I wouldn't say it was hard, but I would say it was challenging. So you've got enough for a veteran to get into. So I just think this game's got everything. I think it's a beautiful game. I think it's. I never play it and come away miserable. I always play it and come away happy. And I like play this, constantly. And 25 minutes later, when I finished it, I come away buzzing. And so it's. I think this is an absolute genuine masterpiece. 11 out of 10, top tier game. So hopefully, to JDM, you can you can keep digging, mate, and get into it. There's that boss that you were having trouble with, by the way.
Yeah. I like how you have the rotating things and the shield. Then that's my favorite, the one with the blue circles.
Yes,
It's like the homing weapon.
And my other game of choice, which we've not talked about that much actually, would be Hellfire. I think Hellfire is just again, it's amazing. It's a lot harder than Thunder Force 3. Hellfire's hardest difficulty setting. If you beat Hellfire on its hardest difficulty setting, the game accuses you of cheating on the ending. That's how hard it is. That's how hard. The ending comes up and it says, "There's no way you beat this without cheating."
Oh my goodness! Okay.
It's just incredibly well. It's just an amazingly designed game. It's just what I love about Hellfire is the changeable shooting dynamics. You have to dominate the screen. You cannot let a single enemy get into a shooting position. On its hardest settings, you can't let an enemy get into its shooting positions or it's got you. So you have to keep on top of it all. And again, that intensity I find amazing. I think it's fantastic. So they'd be my favourite two. I think my honourable mention would be Afterburner 2. I think Afterburner 2, like I mentioned earlier, because it's so varied every time you play it. You are playing the same thing, but because it's hard to get into a set rhythm, each game's different. So that's a game I always go back to. And
Sir Dan makes it look easy.
it's a practice, really.
I think that's the CPU's way of giving you a compliment, calling you a bot or something.
It's just easy to practice, but I think it's like if you notice on Thunder Force 3, I'm constantly changing my weapons. Like I stick to this one for a bit, but you've got to be mindful of all these. Look at this environmental hazards. Look at this, the screens moving, the things dropping. You have to be on top of all these things shooting.
I remember that level actually.
And it is. I mess up here, so I should have gone the top route. But just because I've not played it for a few weeks, I should have gone the top route. I had to go that route, but I got my shield, so I got through it. But it's that kind of thing that it just you once you've got. I think what I'm trying to say is once you've mastered these games or mastered them to a degree where you can finish them one credit or not dying or whatever, they're even better than what you've experienced so far. And Thunder Force 3 is a great example of that. If you enjoy Thunder Force 3 now, to JDM, wait till you're playing it like I'm playing it here, where you're playing it on a no death run. You know what I mean? Like I do die at the end a few times. I just cock up, but when you play it on a no death run, you come out of that and you're buzzing, mate. You're buzzing.
Let's see. Let me gather my reflexes. Maybe I can finish this with at least without continuous.
I'm dodging these. I know I've got things coming behind me. I'm waiting on others. I use my wave to take them out quickly before they can shoot. You know what I mean? Then I'm taking the homing missiles out. Got my life. Switch back. I know I've got to drop down here, so it's. And even then, I
remembered. Yeah, I remember that those obstacles, they're closing, then suddenly they open up. I don't think I reached this far in this level.
You'll get there, mate. You'll get there. You just got to keep trying. It's like them little traps. If you look there, that's a lovely look at that. Let me just show you that. That's a beautiful little trap They've
And
let
I don't like I don't like that dangling thing over there.
no.
Looks
They
doesn't
drop
look right.
the way he drops you there. Oh, I can't get on my video just before it. Let me. No. If you watch there, and this is what they do in Dark Souls. So this is the genius of it. Is they'll drop you a power up just before something's going to hit you. So here, when it comes on, it shoots your power up, it puts it in front of you, but then you've got a block that if you're not careful of is gonna wipe you out. So it should be here. Here. So if you go and get it, boom, that drops and hits you.
Ah,
And it's that clever. It's that kind of clever design that it's all the way throughout the game. So yeah, mate, just I don't know. Even watching it, I'm buzzing. Even watching it, I'm buzzing. I love it. I just love the game so much, man. It's fantastic. So there we go. That's the episode, boys.
And that's the show. Amazing show.
alright.
And yeah, like Joe says, the professionalism of this panel is just pretty much shines. It's because of the fact that we want to be the one of the stated objectives of Timeless Gamer Show is not just to entertain our audience, but also to serve as a little bit of education. And how can we possibly educate our audience if we don't know about it ourselves? So we do our very best to learn about everything that we can so that we can impart that knowledge to our audience as well. All right, there you go. On to you, Joe.
All right. So that's the show, guys, and let's just do a few shameless plugs.
Yes.
And yeah, so let's start off with Miss I. Miss I, where can they find you and when?
Well, you can find me on Twitch, and I upload my stuff on YouTube. And the question is when. I'm not really sure. I don't have a regular schedule, so find me when I'm on,
Are
which is
are you still
random.
available in the next few weeks though?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet.
Mm.
I mean, are you back? Are you back? Are you back to work then, or
Um,
when are you back for work?
Soon, quite soon.
Well,
Oh,
then
soon.
we'll still have Miss Eileen with us whenever we can, however we can. Not even if it's not on live, then she'll do her recordings because of the fact that we absolutely
Mm.
love her content. There you go. Shameless plug, Miss Eileen.
Yeah. So yeah, she did say
Oh, she
Twitch.
did. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There
How
you go.
about your
And then,
JJM?
yeah, okay.
We already know where we could find her, but
Yes.
but when is a
The
different
question is
question.
when.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining our Shoot 'Em Up support group, and we really hope you can all join us. We really hope you can all join us again in the next episode where we try to get Sir Dan play games that we suggest. You can find me on Facebook Gaming, Twitch, and on YouTube. 123 Go Retro. Just search it, and it will come up in the search engines. And lately, I've been try to go back to the streaming world, and every now and then I go live. Previously, I went to play this awesome games, Thunder Force 3 and Afterburner. And also, I forgot to mention about what's that? Um, the game that Sir Dan mentioned, the
Hellfire.
other hard game, Hellfire. Yeah, I forgot I played Hellfire as well last night, and it was quite awesome. You can shoot forwards, backwards, up and down, and this diagonal. And maybe I could play it in much more detail in the next live stream. So please do check it out.
Nice
All
one.
right. Thank you for that, Sir JDM. And how about Sir Joe? Where can they find you?
All right, hello. Thank you very much, everybody. You guys can find me over at kick.com under Banyagang Native and on twitch.tv under Banyagang Native. All you need to do is check out the search bar, type in Banyagang Native, and I'll show up there. I do my streams whenever I can, however I can. Life catches up. Life comes at you really fast. But during my downtimes, whenever I can find them, I do stream a variety of games, mostly retro games, but a lot of different genres too, the modern games as well. So that's it. Twitch.tv, kick.com, hashtag FUFB. Back to you, Joe.
Hashtag FUFB. All right.
Mm,
And the captain of the fleet for this evening,
yes.
Danger Dan himself. Where can they find you?
Mm,
Yes, thank you very much for having me on, everybody. Thank you for listening and watching, and thank you for taking the challenge. You can find us at the Sega Mega Masters channel on YouTube. We are going to be still putting a few videos up, but I've got a few treatments on, so it's going to be in a slight hiatus until early next year. We'll still put bits and bobs on, but it's going to be at a slower pace at the minute. And I think I'm thinking about it. We'll get some challenges on there. We'll get some live challenges. We've been planning on doing it anyway, but we want to get it all together. And there'll be some shoot 'em up challenges. And I hope that you all have found some shoot 'em ups to have a look into here and give the genre a chance. And don't be put off by a few deaths. Learn to enjoy them. Get stuck into it, and you'll find a genre that gives you a lot of excitement. So thank you very much again.
and that
All
was
right.
Danger Dan from the land of Danger Mouse. Okay, there you go.
All right.
Hashtag get good.
Yeah, get
Hashtag-
good.
All right. So my name is Joe RPG, and I have a shoot 'em up problem. Nah, uh, that's a support move right there.
Mhm.
Okay,
There you
so
go.
just a few shout outs to some of our partners for the show. As Sir Dan mentioned, the Sega Mega Masters show, guys. It's a podcast hosted by Sir Dan and Sir Viraj. Available on YouTube, dedicated on everything Sega, Master System, Genesis, Mega Drive, and so you can have a watch and listen to their show. Just search in Sega Mega Masters in YouTube for everything Sega game reviews, their interviews, their discussions, and of course their challenges. See it right there, Sega Mega Masters. All right, and we also got Retro Unlimited, headed by Sir Ray. Sir Poi, of course, a web-based boutique that offers apparel and clothing with prints referencing the old school anime, video games, available with wicked designs. Retro Unlimited is an online shop. They have in Facebook, Lazada, and TikTok, different sizes and prepared for all ages who have fine taste in everything retro. Shuffle Emporium, headed by our master J. It's an online shop that deals with anime figures, toys, trading card games, and other collectibles. So you can just check out their Instagram or Facebook page. That's Shuffle Emporium. And they also have a website, shuffleemporium.com. So you can just check those out for their awesome inventory to take your collection up to the next level. Studio.ph, headed by Sir Ray. Unfortunately, cannot be here. It's another online brand dedicated in making quality prints for stickers, shirts, hoodies, bags, a lot more. So you can just go to their Facebook page, studio.ph, or you can just email them at studio.ph@gmail.com for your customized personal or corporate printing inquiries. And Collectors Alley by Sir Erwin Esteban, the chairman of RGCP, of course. Um, that also houses old school uh, video games, toys, action figures, Gundam model kits, and anime goodies. They're located at the third floor of the LRT Caloocan Mall. So you can just go there, see what they have on display. Sir Erwin always updates his inventory over there. So and they tend to go fast. Um, just recently, Sir, the chairman started his own show. Um, um, so you can just check out his Facebook page, Collectors Alley Retro Collectors Alley or Retro Gamer PH. Just check it out. And of course, a quick shout out as well with Sweet Tooth España. Let's show that. So you got your Sweet Tooth España located at the second floor of the Fuse Box building, Sampaloc, Manila, a little bit close to UST there. They have various different kinds of shakes and different kinds of flavors. So if you happen to be nearby um, and you like your shakes, especially during a hot weather, give Sweet Tooth España a try. And I believe they also partnered with Shuffle Emporium to have a the very first trading card game competition hosted in their venue. As, uh, as far as I remembered on their ads. Yeah, and that's the show. And just to plug just to plug as well, Timeless Gamers show available on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. You can also check out our website, which is timelessgamers.com. Still under construction. We are still inching, updating on that site. You can also listen to the audio format of the show, available on all major audio streaming platforms like Spotify. Uh, and that's it. And on behalf of the people who can't be here, Sir Viraj and Sir Ray, to all of you guys who stayed here there in the chat, we got Sir Christ John, Sir Clark, Baruch Hanoika, Ray Q, of course, Sir Jomar, Sir Siebert, and RV, Justin, uh, all of you. If I forgot some of the names, thank you all very much. And that's it. And hopefully we'll see you again on the next show. Our games and our bodies may go out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Hey.
Timeless.
Timeless. All right. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you guys again soon. Bye.
See you.
Get good, guys.